It's time for Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Quick pitch to Walter, looking for the record, cuts back, he's got it, he's out of it at 25 to the 26-yard line. Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rusher.
Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their sixth NBA championship.
Chicago has won the Stanley Cup. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, go to Rizzo.
It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this hump day edition. Guys, I'm your boy, the super back, Shawn Sierra. Tell you what, it is a beautiful day here in the Shy, and it is nice and cool. Take the, not even brisk, it's cool. It's a beautiful day. Thanks for tuning in. Man, I'm fired up because we have a lot of sports to talk about. Hey, listen, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. Now, if you're not following us on Facebook, what are you doing? What are you doing? All right, make sure that you go to Facebook and you type in SportsZone Chicago, click like. Also, while you're on Facebook, since you're already there, go to Shawn and Maya in the morning. Okay, click like. And this way you're liking us on both pages. Now, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, excellent. Now, if you're not following us on YouTube, what are you doing? All right, here's what you do. Go to YouTube, type in SportsZone Chicago, okay? Click subscribe. And now you take us with you everywhere you go, okay? You can have SportsZone Chicago with Shawn and Maya in the morning, in addition to our 4 other live shows. Now, if you're listening to us on our app, that's even more excellenter, okay? Wherever you get your apps from, make sure you type in SportsZone Chicago, download it, download the app, and take us with you on the go. And not only will you get our 5 live shows, but you're going to get a slew of podcasts as well. Now, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at SM_mornings. At SM_mornings, or at SportsZone Shy, that's CHI, at SportsZone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. Want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook. Whoa, did we do something wrong? There we go. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snap.
Yeah, I can't hear you at all, Shawn.
There we go. Does this help at all? What the heck? Let's see. Let's check this out.
That's it. That's it right there. That's it. Now you're gone again.
There we go. Are we good? Now we're good. Oh, jeez. No wonder. Well, you know what? We apologize for the technical difficulties. Holy sheesh. Jamar, thanks for letting me know about that no sound. That's why a whole bunch of people checked in and then they checked out. They're like, what the hell's going on with this guy? What's going on with this guy over there? Okay. So you heard nothing. So you heard nothing. Okay. Excellent. Hey, listen. Well, then here's what we're going to do. We're going to start off again. Okay. We'll start off with the lineup. All right. Today, 10 o'clock, my guy, Matanuco from the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast is going to call in at 10 o'clock. We're going to talk baseball. Our White Sox are in a bit of a slump, and we're going to see what he feels they need to do to break out of this slump. That's Matanuco at 10 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, our girl, Beth Mishler-Elmore, she covers the Bears for Heavy.com. She's going to call in. We're going to talk a lot. Even though there's no football going on now, there's a lot of football news going on, especially around the Bears. Okay, especially around the Bears. This whole Arlington Heights deal, this new partnership they have with Rivers Casino, who's owned mostly by Churchill Downs, who owns the land in Arlington Heights. The Bears just put the bid on. So you talk about intertwined, how small the world is and how intertwined things are. This is this is very interesting right here with the Bears. So we're going to talk to Beth Mishler-Elmore at 11 o'clock. Well, guys, you know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
Just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
The top of the morning segment. Our top of the morning segment is powered by the Chicago Crusader newspaper. Chicago Crusader newspaper. Our top of the morning segment is powered by the Chicago Crusader newspaper. And listen, he's supposed to be coming on with us, but I know, listen, and Ivan, you know this as well as anybody. If you're a new dad and you got you got a kid around the house, the heck with your plans. The heck with your plans. Your plans don't mean anything. So Joseph should be joining us any moment to hop on this top of the morning segment. But we're going to see him. We're going to talk to him in a moment. But listen, our first top of the morning topics: the Cubs. The Cubs beat the Cleveland Indians yesterday over at Wrigley 7-1. Kyle Hendricks, he gets the win. Man, let me tell you something. For all the ish I was talking about Kyle Hendricks, okay, I was talking a lot of mad stuff about Kyle Hendricks, okay, saying that the Cubs don't really have an ace and Kyle Hendricks is getting better, but you know what? He showed out yesterday. Kyle Hendricks showed out yesterday. He went 6 innings. Kyle Hendricks had 6 innings for the Cubs, 4 hits, no runs. Okay, no walks. That was huge. 5 punch outs, gaining his 10th victory of the season. Listen, I've never doubted the talent of Kyle Hendricks, ever. He doesn't have help. That's the issue. He doesn't have help. Jake Arrieta is not what he used to be. Alec Mills is Albert Alzolay is and it's tough for him because he's the lone the bright lone spot in that pitching staff, and he's still not the guy that we've seen. He's not at the top of his game right now. So it's tough. Vernon, you got Vernon checking in. Last night's picture might as well create crochet dolls. Oh man, dude, who are you telling? That was not fun. That was not. You know what? We just got a swift kick in the nuts with the series with Houston, and to have what happened yesterday. Well, we're going to talk about that next. We're definitely we'll talk about that next. But I want to stay with the Cubs. It's not the. A lot of people. I don't want to rain on their parade. Okay, it's a 7-1 win. Wilson Contreras 2 for 4 with a home run, his 12th of the season, and his 14th RBI. Chris Bryant, he was 1 for 3 with a homer, his 14th of the season, knocking in his 40th RBI of the season. And Mr. Wisdom himself, he was 1 for 4 with a home run, his 10th of the season, driving in his 14th RBI of the season. Jock Peterson, he was 1 for 3 with a double, 2 ribbies, his 31st and 32nd ribbies of the season. And you know what? It was all in all a good win for the Cubs. They did us a favor, okay, by knocking out Cleveland. So we didn't lose any ground because of the ass whooping that we got or the heartbreak that we got. But you know what? So I will say thank you, Cubs. Thank you for that. Not too often am I going to be thanking the Cubs, but
Don't worry, we don't really like to help you out per se. It just so happens we helped you out. Don't worry.
Okay. Continue doing what you're doing. Continue not really liking to help us out one more time today. All right. How about that? How about them there apples? Okay. Forget about it. But you know what? If the Cubs continue to do this, then they're gonna have some tough decisions that need to be made at the trade deadline. So we're gonna figure it out. I wanted to ask you, if you get a chance, what's your take on the whole Javi Baez situation? He forgot how many outs there were. In case you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the other day, the fly ball hit to left field, and there was 1 out, and Javi thought there were 2 outs. So he took off on contact. He hit second. He's running around third. The guy catches the ball. The left fielder, like, damn near sprinted all the way from left field to tag, just to hand it off, because he realized that Javi had messed up. And once Javi was around second and almost toward third and realized he messed up, he was just like, oh, well. And then he gets taken out. Manager David Ross takes him out, has a talking with him in the hub in the dugout, and then benches him. Your thought on that?
I'm good with it. This is why David Ross is going to be the manager of the year. I feel like it. If the Cubs could continue on this journey, I feel like David Ross, if they could get him into playoffs, David Ross will be the manager of the year. And I think you're seeing why. You have to address things like that. The focus needs to be 1,000%. You're still in a battle with the Milwaukee Brewers. It's not like you're 10 games up. You know what I mean? It's not. The fans are back. Yeah, everybody's having a good time. Everybody's happy. Everybody looks happy. Things are opening up. Things are looking up for the Cubs. But Javi needs to focus on the task at hand, and that's the game, man. Like, how do you have mental lapses like that? This isn't the first time this year with Javi. Javi, I think he hit a double to I think it was a double that he hit to the wall. It turned into a single. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't running out of the box. Javi has these tendencies to just have these mental lapses, and I think David Ross is like fed up with it. You have to nip this in the bud, and he did.
Hey, listen, we are ready for our guy. So we're going to bring in our guy, your guy, the guy over at the Chicago Crusader, who's the sports editor over there. He's our good friend. He's a guy you can find on Twitter at ACA Joe. Let's bring him out, our boy, Joseph Phillips. Joseph, what's up, Papa?
What's up, Papa? God bless.
How you doing?
Man, I had to put the baby in good position with mommy and doing fine. Been playing a lot of ball lately, man.
Sound a little out of breath right now, Joseph. You're running around right now.
Yeah, man. I've been acting like I'm 20 years old, man. I dropped like 12 pounds, just been running, doing cardio, hooping, taking care of the baby, changing diapers, doing push-ups, riding bikes, That's what dads do.
Joseph sounds like the mayor right now, kissing babies, riding bikes, talking to people, doing things.
Renaming Lakeshore Drive, that whole deal.
Oh, no.
Wow, not the mayor, not the mayor, a mayor.
Not the mayor. Hey, I got you. Not the mayor. Okay. How you doing, Papa?
Oh, I'm doing great. Doing great, man.
Good, man.
Great. Finally get a chance to get back,
How's Theo?
Oh, Theo's doing great. Theo's doing great. We took him to the doctor. He's 100% healthy. Zion's doing better. My wife's doing good. Everybody's good.
Good. Well, the first half of the morning time we talked about your Cubs with a big 7-1 victory yesterday over the Tribe at Wrigley. Chris Bryant with a homer. Patrick Wisdom with a homer. Was the Contreras with a homer. Jock Peterson with a double, dringing in 2 ribbies. And the professor, him having a good game. Not a stellar game, but a good game. More than enough to get the victory. But it seems like he is slowly but surely getting back on track into being the professor that we once knew and loved.
Yeah, there's always a regalness when we play the Cleveland Indians. It just takes you back to the 2016 World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And something about last night's game, it's just like, you know what? No matter what you guys do in the American League, remember, we were the ones responsible for beating you guys in the World Series, so we're not afraid of you. And we helped the White Sox out a little bit too.
You did.
We lost to the Pittsburgh Pirates last night. I don't know what's going on, but they fell to them. And we helped out our brothers on the South Side. And we took care of a little business thanks to Cal Hendricks, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 5 Ks. KB, Captain America is back, 14 home runs. Contreras, who, pretty much he always make that occasional put the game away home run. Javi is another subject, and I've always been calling out Javi this season, but finally he got exposed for his antics for the first time this year.
So give me your thoughts. I just before you came on, I asked Ivan what he thought about this situation where Javi getting benched for the base running gaff that he had, forgetting that there was only 1 out and thinking that there were 2. So on a pop up to left field, he takes off on contact. He rounds second, almost the third when he realizes he screwed up, and just at that point there was no way he could have made it back. So give me your thoughts on him being pulled and benched.
Well, there's a difference between playing within yourself and playing for yourself. And what Javi is facing the case of, I'll have to say egotisticism, So the reason why I'm saying that is because it's like when it comes to his at-bats, it's 2 schools of thoughts. The rest of the team is working the counts, trying to, move guys over. He's still swinging for the fences, meaning that he didn't get the memo. You see what I mean? And on occasions, he'll sacrifice his bat and go for the single or the double. But what I'm seeing out of him is a lot of selfishness, and I don't like that because it's a little bit too much showboating going on. Now, I know that every now and then he makes some magnificent plays that we've never seen before, like the base rundown, etc. But not to know that the number of outs. And I always tell these guys in the Little League the same thing. I be behind the plate calling out the outs so you can know the scenario. If you're in the major leagues and you don't know how many outs there is, man, you about to put yourself on the hot seat. And that was the right move by David Ross by sitting him down, because no matter how many little antics you do throughout the game, if you're not sticking to the fundamentals and if you're not following along with the game plan, eventually you're going to expose yourself. And he got exposed playing for himself again and not knowing the situation of the number of outs in that game.
Well, it also happened to a pretty good guy in another arena on the football field, and that was Tom Brady last year. So he got, he thought it was 4th down, but it was actually, he thought it was 3rd down when it was actually 4th down. So when they didn't get it, and he was trying to get his 5th down, like University of Colorado did years ago.
But that speaks to his arrogance. That speaks to Tom Brady arrogance, because he thought that, I had all the time in the world. But didn't realize that, oh, well, and he probably had an attitude like, I'm playing against the Bears, so we got all the time in the world. We got this. But he didn't realize the Bears shut him down 3-and-out. You see what I mean? So
why is it his arrogance and Javi's knuckleheadness as opposed and not Javi's arrogance as well, or Tom Brady just having a brain fart?
No, it's both arrogance. They're both forms of arrogance. Like, first of all, Tom Brady arrogance was that you think you're going to get an extra down. No, you're not getting an extra down. You're Tom Brady, but you're not that great that they're going to give you an extra down.
They made a rule for him. They made the tuck rule for him.
Yeah, they did, but that's the shame. It's the same LeBron James. Goes back to the LeBron James theory. You spoil them so much that they don't even realize what's going on the court or on the field. Bottom line is that you can't come out with these bratty attitudes or these arrogant, cocky attitudes and think that somebody's going to bow down to you. Tom Brady, perfect example. Javier Baez, he likes to showboat a little bit, but he got exposed. You see what I mean? And David.
So are you being hard on everybody? I mean, can it just be that they made a mistake? I mean, I understand they're athletes; they get paid millions of dollars, but can it be you made a mistake? I mean, Yo-Yo made the same thing last week when it was a hot shot to third base. It was runner on first, and it was only 1 out. It should have been a quick 5-4-3 around the horn double play. And he just throws the first, and even Keiko was like, "Whoa, what the? Why are you bringing the hammer on these guys can it not be that they just made a mistake? I mean, Tom Brady overthrows players. Jose Abreu whiffs at sliders that are out of the zone. Javi swings at high pitches. Those are mistakes that they make. Those are mental mistakes.
Stubbornness. Like, I'm not going to include Makata in this because Makata is not. I wouldn't say he's not on a level, but I think Makata is he's a budding star. He's not a superstar. Okay. Javi is all-star, you see what I mean, / like on a rise to another level type of star. And the reason why I'm saying that because he's already won the World Series. He's had a nickname. You see what I mean? Makata is not known for doing stuff like that. Javi's been caught on a few occasions showing other guys up and doing other things. Him and Wilson Contreras. And that's one of the things I just, Joe Madden didn't like about Wilson. He used to always tell him, stay calm behind the plate. Calm down. They had to get him to – it took him like 2 or 3 years just to get him to calm down because he'd be so amped up and want to show off and stuff. And Anthony Rizzo had to call a lot of these guys out too. Like, hey, man, be professionals, guys. At the end of the day, be a professional. And whether that's running the bases, whether that's trying to hit a home run and it's not a home run, but you walking on the pitch, bat flipping, doing all this stuff, and then it turns into a single. You see what I mean? Like, that's disrespectful. Okay, Tom Brady's the same way. Very arrogant, very cocky. He got away with it, and I'm still investigating that they cheated to get to that point because all of a sudden, after that Bears game, they started knowing everybody plays, but that's another subject within itself.
They started knowing everybody's plays. It couldn't have been that they had a bye week and they decided to change the style of offense that they were running. That couldn't be it. It's just they started knowing everybody's plays, huh? Okay.
Shawn, you've seen this before with Spygate, man. Let's not go there. We can't act like those things don't exist, and they do exist.
But this is not the whole Patriots thing. This is just Tom Brady and Bruce Arians.
Brady, man. Tom Brady is the ringleader, man. Like, he's the biggest cheater in sports history. Him and that 1919 White Sox team. Like they between those two guys.
Well, what about Sammy and a cork bat? That's not one of the biggest cheaters either.
Well, a cork bat, yeah, but he didn't win he didn't win the World Series. You guys took it all the way to the World Series and cheated and lost.
How do we
the game? So that's a different story.
Anyway, Joseph, good to have you back, Joseph. Good to have you back.
I'm just getting warmed up.
I think I hear Theo crying.
There's no crying in baseball.
Hey, listen, let's take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we have more top of the morning topics. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
And Peterson
Lines one to left center field, a base hit in the alley, all the way to the wall. The ball
comes out of the vines. Racing around third, Ortega. He will score. 2-run double, Jock Peterson. Listen to this crowd.
That's the action on the Cubs radio network. 7-1 the win over Cleveland on Tuesday. Kyle Hendricks gave up 4 hits over 6 innings, no runs allowed, 5 strikeouts. Jock Peterson and Wilson Contreras, each with 2 RBIs. Contreras 2 for 4 at the plate. Peterson with the 2-run double. The Pirates doubled up the White Sox 6-3. Pittsburgh with a 4-run bottom of the 7th. Lucas Giolito 7 strikeouts over 6 innings. He walked 2 and gave up 2 runs on 4 hits. Download the free Score app. Lightning fast updates so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
Staples Connect has everything for school at amazing prices. Right now, 24-count Crayola crayons, 2-pocket polyfolders, and 4-ounce Elmer's glue are just 50 cents each. So your student won't just be ready for school, they'll be art project masterpiece ready.
It's a popsicle stick Eiffel Tower to scale.
Get more than ready for school with amazing prices for everything on your list. Visit your local Staples store or get it same day with Instacart. In-store only and 619, limit 30. Instacart delivery subject to availability. Additional fees may apply.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español?
Hablo.
It's hablo?
Yes.
It's hablo.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real-life situations.
The app is so easy to use and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago on this Hump Day edition. I'm sitting here with Joseph Phillips. He is the sports editor over there at the Chicago Crusader newspaper, which powers this top of the morning segment. And you know what? Let's talk little Cubs. Next top of the morning topic, my White Sox. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Thank you, sir. May I have another? Thank you, sir. May I have a freaking another? The White Sox lose their 5th in a row yesterday. This time to the lowly Pittsburgh Pirates. It looked good. Lucas Giolito pitched well. He got a no decision. He went 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, both earned, a walk. 2 walks and 7 punch outs. The Sox were down at 1-0 or 2-0. First of all, let me say this: they were down 2-0, and then in the 6th inning, and then Yasmani Grandal comes to the plate. He pinch hits, and he goes deep. He gives us a 3-2 lead, which we're hoping would be the catalyst for these guys to start hitting. We're waiting for the big bats to really come alive, and they hadn't to that point. Well, but then our bullpen decides to go and just blow it. Oh my God, that was horrible. Let me tell you something. Garrett Crochet had a rough day at the office yesterday. I'm not going to defend him. It was rough. Matt Bummer as well. They will not be in there come late July and August. Okay? They will not be in there. There's no way. Okay? Tony La Russa is giving them, well, you know what? Give me your thoughts, Joseph. Sox dropped their 5th in a row to the lowly Pirates.
Well, I think it's just attrition. Eventually you guys are gonna cool off a little bit. That Houston Astros series kind of sent a message to you guys. It's kind of similar to, remember I was talking about how y'all are starting to play the upper echelon. Y'all gonna start playing the upper echelon teams, and this is where your character will be tested. It'll be challenged, and we're gonna see how the Sox are gonna bounce back. The Astros threw the first blow. Not only the blow was a sweep, but it ended up affecting you guys in the next series. So I don't think you guys got over on how I don't think you guys got over how you guys lost to the Astros, because it was kind of embarrassing.
Not kind of. Very. Not kind of. Very embarrassing.
Yeah. So, and I think it kind of brought y'all back down. It humbled y'all a little bit, just like, hey, we got a lot of work to do. And it's probably making y'all GM think, hey, maybe we do need to add another slugger in this lineup. Maybe we do need to add another starter. Whatever we have to do to win the World Series, let's do that. And right now, because of the team having a lot of injuries, etc., you get different lineups, different pitching matchups. You got to remember, other teams don't care. Like they don't care if y'all injured. They don't care if you try to get your lineup together. They don't care if you're trying to switch up your rotation. They want to beat you. And the bottom line is, right now, teams are coming at the White Sox, and especially with y'all being on the radar, teams don't fear you guys. And Astros are the first step. Like, hey, we know y'all talking a lot of trash over there. We know y'all over there claiming that, oh, this is our year and all this stuff. Well, we're going to send a little message to you to let you know you got a lot of work to do.
It was this bullpen has really let us down. I cannot wait until Michael Kopech comes back. He is sorely missed, no pun intended. He's greatly missed. You can't keep putting Crochet out there. I mean, I know what Tony's doing, and he's still putting Crochet out there. He's still putting Bummer out there. He's giving these guys an extended audition. So when he sits their ass, you're not going to see him anymore. In August and September, when these series start meaning things, these guys are going to be MIA. They are literally going to be just collecting a check is all they're going to be doing, because with the body of work that you've shown, okay, with the number of opportunities that Tony La Russa has given Garrett Crochet and Matt Bummer, and for them not to produce on a consistent basis, they have no one to blame but themselves. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with, I know we lost yesterday to the Crochet, but at least you're understanding what you can do, what you're getting, what they can do and what they cannot do. Because when the shit hits the fan and these games start getting more and more intense in a playoff atmosphere type, because we're winding down the season, Tony's not going to put them in because you've already shown that you're not able to do it. So, you know what? If he gives you some more chances, I highly suggest to Matt Bummer, to Garrett Crochet, that they start performing. Otherwise, if this team goes deep into the playoffs and, God willing, a World Series, you're not going to be a big part of it. You're going to be a uniform wearer.
And plus, isn't Garrett Crochet the guy last year that everybody was raving about? I know you guys only played 30. Everybody only played like 30-something games last year.
60.
60. I'm sorry, 60-something games last year. But I don't know if his arm is kind of like, worn out. If he's been overused, maybe so. Maybe they need to rest him a little bit. Maybe they need to send him down to AAA and get him a little work on his arm, a little rehab, because when you see, I don't know if has his velocity been dropping? Is that something that's concerning you guys? Like, has anything changed from last year? That's the question.
Yeah, his velocity's dropped a little bit. And I'm wondering if he's one of those guys who is using some of the foreign substances. He's hung a lot of pitches this year, a lot more than he did last year, and that could be one of two things. One, he is getting tired, or he's being used to the point where this is a lot more than he's used to, which is a possibility. But it's also a possibility that he was one of those guys. And you know what, pitchers, it's been done for ages, Joseph. You know that as well as I do. It's been done for ages. Pitchers do something to get a tighter grip, a stickier grip on the ball, which makes your curveballs curve more. You have a lot more spin rotation. They check the spin rotation and all this other stuff, but it's a tighter pitch. So they curve. The curves are harder to slide. All the breaking pitches, they break a lot sharper. Okay. And I'll tell you what's happening, and it's about money, Joseph. It's all about money. All right. Major League Baseball is realizing that the runs per game are down. People like when guys hit home runs, when the guys are crossing the plate and fans are cheering, and it's not happening. It's not happening like it is. I mean, how many no-hitters have we had already? Okay. Because this season, I think there's more no-hitters in this first half of the season than there have been in the first half in a long, long time. And a lot of it has to do with this. You saw the who was the pitcher we just faced in the other day, Glasnow. Okay, he was pissy about it. He got his elbow. He has a strained UCL, ulnar collateral ligament. That's the one you need. When it pops when you have Tommy John surgery. And he was saying how they screwed him up, and that's the reason he blames Major League Baseball for his injury. So what that's telling you is that he using it because they're going to crack down, and now it's putting more torque and more pressure on his elbow, which is, causing it to be strained. So, he just told on himself. All right, you came out and did that. You told on yourself. So, I don't know, Joseph. I would like to get back to a lot more home runs.
Right.
But we'll see.
But Trevor, one of the guys I don't understand who's like the face of all this stuff is Trevor Bauer. Like, how did he get away with a lot of this stuff? Because I think his numbers have changed a little bit, haven't they?
Yeah.
Because I know he's pitching with the Dodgers, so he was one of the main ones coming out boldly stating that he used stickum on his pitches. So I think he should have been penalized. And those that keep doing it, like what's the kid name from the Yankees that's pitching right now? Their starter, one of their starters used to play for the Pirates.
I'm not sure.
I can't remember his name, but he's one of the Yankees aces. But they kind of exposed him in the press conference, and he just stuttering all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's frustrating right now as a Sox fan. It really is. But I'll tell you what, give me this 5-game losing streak now. Give it to me now while we're still in first place. Give it to me now when we have all these injuries. Give it to me now when we are not firing on all cylinders physically.
Garrett Cole.
Garrett Cole. Okay.
Thanks, Sydney.
We're still two games up on Cleveland. I will believe you me. I will take that. If we can get through all these things, still in and around the lead, God willing, we are still in first. But if we can get through this, I think we'll come out pretty good. Yesterday, you remember Mercedes came out yesterday, got a base hit. I was extremely happy. You remember Mercedes was like 1 for 21 in his last. His approach is he looks confused at the plate. He doesn't have that confidence that he had anymore, that he had when the season started.
Right.
Pitchers have figured him out. But one of the things that I've seen a lot with him is his 2-strike approach. He takes that to start. He uses his 2-strike approach at the beginning of an at bat. And what he doesn't do, which he did yesterday, he doesn't go to right field. Go to right field. When you're in a slump, you know what? Pitchers are going to continue to throw you away, up and away, down and away. But they're going to throw you away, okay? Because they know when you're in a slump, you're looking to break that slump, and you're chasing. You're chasing, and Mercedes has to realize he can't pull everything. So if they're going to pitch you away, take the pitch away and go to right field. That's what he did yesterday when he got a base hit, which hopefully gets him off the schneid. But man, this White Sox team is they're reeling right now with all the injuries. Adam Engel just went back on the 10-day DL. This White Sox team is hurting big time.
Yeah, and the bottom line is that, like I said, injuries have, pretty much, it has affected the team. You have to actually admit the fact that those injuries are playing a key role into what's going on right now, in spite of you guys winning. Because that's another thing. Like I said, you guys have shown resilience in spite of having injuries, which are still 13 games over 500. So y'all still have a great record, but no one said it's going to be easy. No one's going to give you anything, so you can just kiss that goodbye. Even the Cubs after 108 years, we had people still destroying us behind our backs. Like, you're going to lose, you're going to slug, you're going to choke. We had to hear all that whole year. And then we finally won it, then we celebrated. So White Sox, y'all your own worst enemies. Like I said, you can take care of what's going on in-house, clean up some things, bring down some egos a little bit. Like I said, you still got some guys on that team who feel that they've arrived and they got a resume and they haven't won anything. You don't want a false sense of security setting in, or you're going to get sent home again in the first round. You don't want that. You see what I mean? Because one of these teams get hot and y'all run into them, that can just end all y'all dreams. So you don't want that. And at the end of the day, Tony La Russa I know that he makes a lot of decisions that you may not like, but what I tell people when it comes to La Russa, he's gonna come through when it matters, and that's in the postseason. Like you may not like what he do throughout the regular season, but when the postseason comes, you'll see the Tony La Russa. Because I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, this has been the one of the most catastrophic years. I mean, just think of all, and it's not just the White Sox. There's a whole bunch of other people.
Right.
I put up a stat last week. A whole bunch of other teams are dealing with injuries. But look at our outfield. Our starting outfield's gone. All right, Adam Eaton in right, he's out. Okay, Lou Bob in center, he's out. Eloy Jimenez in left, he's out. Then we have Billy Hamilton coming back, he's out. Now we have Adam Engel, who just came back off of injury. He didn't start the season with us. He came back. He came out balling. First game of the year. First game he played, he robs a homer. Then he hits a homer in the next couple of games, and now he's out again. I don't know what the situation is. Okay, but we've had to deal with so much in our outfield, and let's not forget Nicky Two Strikes, who just had successful surgery.
Right.
So think of it. Eloy.
Hey, Shawn. What's up? I'm just laughing because all these injuries you mentioned, you know who's gonna get the blame, right?
LeBron.
Hey, you see how the Lakers fired their strength and conditioning coach? Like they got rid of their trainer, I mean, they fire a trainer every 2 years, man. I just think that's funny. But you mentioned all these injuries, and they're gonna point right to your trainer, and they're gonna say, you know what? Look, nobody's healthy. And I'm saying this is how sad it is, but someone's gonna have to pay for that.
But it's not just the Sox, dude. If it was just the White Sox, then you have to. And I remember I was one of those guys who were saying, let's look into this. Let's look into this. Who's the strength and conditioning coach? But then you see it's up across Major League Baseball, and I'll tell you why this is. Okay, I'll tell you why this is when you get to that level, your body is the most amazing machine ever created. Okay, it understands patterns. So when in February, it realizes that you're going to be in Arizona. Okay, the weather's usually a little warmer. Okay, now you're doing baseball activities. Okay, and then you're going to be doing baseball activities all the way to September. Okay, and it understands that, and then it understands when you start to train again, and then it understands when you take your breaks and everything. But due to COVID last year, that season was jacked up.
Right.
So your body didn't get the normal wear and tear that it did. Okay.
Right.
And I think that now that you're back on it, your bodies, I should say, are getting adjusted to their workload back from 2019.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm thinking, because it's so numerous and so uniform across the league. Again, not just one team. I think everybody's bodies. These are the best trained athletes in the world. And when you break that rhythm and that pattern that they've had for years, it can do a number, and it is doing a number on their bodies.
Yeah. And like I said, with back in the days, the athletes, and they try to compare and contrast, these athletes of today are so superior. They got the best trainers. They got the best nutrients and eating regimens and all that. It's like, whatever, bro. At the end of the day, they got more muscles and everything, but their bodies tear up quick because they're overworking their bodies. Most of these guys, you can't lift weights 24/7, 7 days a week. You have to let your body rest and recuperate. This is why a lot of guys do steroids, because they know that their body can't sustain that type of workout. The inflammation has to heal up. There's this thing called rest and recuperation. There's this thing called recovery. You need that as an athlete. You need that. And it's just unrealistic to see a lot of these guys that, they buff up, they put on all this weight, or they get super strong so quick. They skinny 1 minute, the next minute they swollen and all outdoors. I think it's something questionable about that, the turnaround about that. Even though they got new technology, don't get me wrong. They got all these new things, and I always go back to LeBron James and PEDs and all that stuff. Reason why I'm saying that is because their bodies aren't tearing up just because they tripped over one guy. Their bodies are tearing up because they may be overworking their bodies in certain areas. And this is something that most people don't want to talk about. They always want to give credit to the new generation athletes and say they're stronger and bigger, but their shelf life is a lot shorter in some cases.
But you would imagine with the advancements, all the advancements in technology, that they would be able to recover at a better rate, not necessarily faster, but at a better rate than they are. So, I don't know. I really don't. I don't agree. I don't agree with you on the LeBron and PEDs thing, but other people in their recovery. I mean, these guys are flying first class, dude. They're flying. They got charter jets. Just about all the teams in the NBA have charter jets. So if they have a back-to-back, or if they have a night off in between games, well, guess what? Then you're flying out the night after the game. Okay, the minute after you fly out, you get to the next city. You're staying in 5-star hotels. You got masseuses at your beck and call. Unless you're Deshaun Watson, but that's another story.
No.
But you have the top amenities. So why these injuries are happening? I just don't know.
Repeat that to me, Shawn. PEDs.
No.
PEDs.
No.
PEDs.
No.
It's coming out to a theater near you.
Anyway,
I wondered sometimes how we went from little LeBron to this giant man. You know what I'm saying?
The Hulk. Yeah. The Bruce Banner LeBron. Yeah.
First of all, he didn't go from little LeBron to Bruce to the Hulk in a year. All right, this is over time. It took him 3 or 4 years, and at that point, I went from people when you're in college, and let's remember, LeBron didn't go to college. So when you're in college and you hit the weight room, all right, that's your body's biggest time. And the first, let's not get it twisted. LeBron was 6'5", 6'7" in high school. That's for starters.
Yes, he was.
Okay,
he was.
For starters. So he had that frame on him. Now you get to the NBA, and now you're dealing with actual legitimate paid professional strength and conditioning coaches. That's a whole nother issue. And you're at a point where you're 18, 19, you're developing, man, your body is eating up those weights. So it's not the PEDs. He's gotten bigger. And remember, he got heavy. He was playing a power forward thing. He got up to like 260, 270. Okay. But then
tell him, Jamar. Let him know, Jamar.
But
no one's questioning. No one questioning Barry Bonds and PEDs. No one's questioning that because his head grew like 16 sizes. No one's questioning that. I'm just saying with LeBron, you're getting finally true strength and conditioning. You're getting true a nutritionist. You're getting a whole bunch of things that make your body grow.
No, he hired a biochemist. First of all, you hired a biochemist. Okay, that's the first thing. That's questionable right there. A marine biochemist who use clear steroids to show you how to keep your blood flowing underwater. This is stuff that people don't talk about because they protect this guy. And it's the same thing in baseball. You got a lot of these guys who was cool with guys like Victor Conte and all these shadowy figures and shadowy names, and then their names came out in the ledgers, and then all of a sudden, abracadabra, it disappears. So what I'm saying is that all leagues have had PED problems, and I know they don't like talking about them, but just listen to some of the interviews. Some guy says they used to eat it like candy. I mean, like they used to come there and just throw them in their mouth. It was a part of the culture, So I don't think that culture has gone away that fast. I think some guys are just doing it, but they're just doing it differently now. And then
don't you think the teams know about this and kind of foster this because it gives you because it gives you athletes that are bigger, stronger, faster. It makes your specific sport more entertaining when you see guys who are jumping through the gym and dunking, or guys hitting 500-foot home runs, or you have running backs or defensive linemen busting through double teams of 200-300-pound men, or running backs breaking tackles and scoring. it makes the game more exciting. It makes the game more exciting. It makes it more appealing. More people want to go watch it. So is it the players' fault really, or is it the league's fault? Because at the end of the day, the league just wants money. Whatever they have to do to get the product, to bring in more money for them, they will.
Right. They'll do it, and they'll sacrifice you to do it.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're already treated like a piece of meat when you're first drafted, or before you even get drafted. They measure your body, they measure your head, they measure your neck. You see what I mean? They measure all that stuff. They treat you like stock, like slave stock. So my whole thing is, at the end of the day, this is one of those taboo subjects that a lot of people feel they don't want to hear because their greatest or maybe their favorite player may be using it. And like I said, there's evidence that baseball players have been using it. NBA players have been using it, and the league is throwing it onto the table because there's been positive tests out there, and they throwing it under the table. So my whole thing is that maybe this is something that needs to be brought to the light to encourage the younger generation, do it the right way. You don't have to take any shortcuts. And if you're taking shortcuts on the field, you're taking shortcuts jumping from team to team, I know you're taking shortcuts when nobody's watching. So at the end of the day, this is the integrity of the game. This is where it's going. And people like to see home runs, and people like to see dunks and longevity, And some girls, they like to see endurance going on and on and on and on. What I'm saying is that some stuff that you're asking for is just unreal. These are human beings, and you got to allow the human body to heal itself. That's all I'm saying.
The next top of the morning topic, Raider defensive lineman Carl Nassib becomes the first active NFL player to come out as gay. This happened a couple of days ago, and I believe it was Monday it came out. And since then, he's received an overwhelming amount of support from current and former NFL players, current and former pro athletes, fans. And his jersey in the last 2 days has been the number one selling jersey at NFL.com. Your thoughts on Carl Nassib coming out saying he's gay?
Well, you know why I stand biblically. I know this is some foolishness. At the end of the day, I'm going to stand on my biblical beliefs. When you're in a locker room with other men, first of all, you should have told them that before all of this went off, because these other men are married, they have wives, they have children, and they've been violated. You see what I mean? And I noticed another
How
thing.
so?
Yeah, how so? Because, they bodies have been exposed to somebody that, that's attracted to the same sex. That is something wrong with that. That's not normal.
That doesn't. Here's why I question you. So just because he's attracted to the same sex, it doesn't mean that he's attracted to his teammates. You love your wife to no end, but you see I'm sure you're not attracted to other beautiful women. Are you attracted? What I'm saying is, because he's in a room full of people that he's attracted to, means you're implying that he's attracted to them because they're the same sex, because that's what he likes. All men are not attracted to all women because they're women.
First of all, you acting like I've been in a locker room as a reporter.
I've been in a locker room once or two as well.
And Shawn, we athletes, okay? When you necking in the locker room, everything is being shown. So I'm not going to try to give a G-rated version of, well, he's in the locker room and he's not looking at anybody. He's looking at everybody, okay? What I'm saying is that's a booty buffet for this dude. Now, my whole thing is, at the end of the day, I'm not trying to sound politically correct, man, but that's nasty, bro. At the end of the day, you can quote me on that, bro. I'm sorry.
But, here's my thing. I don't understand. Why he should have told them before. He said he's been battling with this for like 15 years. Okay, 15 years to come out to let people know. Okay, and because of the culture, it's difficult for him to or anybody in that situation where for them, because of the culture of the NFL or of football, period, we're going back to high school and to college, that you can't live and people can't accept you for that. Now, if he's touching people inappropriately, first of all, he's going to be getting his ass whooped because there's a whole bunch of guys bigger than him.
I know I'm whooping somebody.
But at some particular point, like I'm waiting for the day where this is not an issue. It's not newsworthy, okay? Because unfortunately, there's a lot more people who are gay. Okay, a lot more people who are coming out gay who have no problem saying they're gay, and there have been gay people in sports as long as we've been alive and even longer. Warren Moon came out. He tweeted yesterday, said he played with a lot of people who were gay, but they couldn't come out because he played football with them back in the 80s and 90s. And believe you me, that was a whole different culture than it is today.
First of all, if I didn't like Dennis Rodman doing all that crazy stuff when he was playing with the Bulls, even Michael and them told him, hey, bro, calm down, bro. You're not going to come up in here smacking me in my butt, doing all this stuff, doing all this crazy mess. Bottom line is, man, men don't supposed to act like women, bro. That's not normal. I'm not going to stand up here and try to approve it and say one day we're going to all join together in holy matrimony. No. At the end of the day, I don't want my children seeing that. Okay,
but
I don't want your children seeing that.
But you're not seeing anything at all. Just we're talking about him. He's a professional athlete.
I don't want to see hairy men.
Joseph, you're not seeing that on the football field. Joseph,
hold on, Joseph. Let him finish.
I get what you're saying, man. Chill out. Let me speak. I understand where you stand. Don't get me wrong. All I'm saying is that when it comes to the football field, it really doesn't matter. What I'm saying is that they did this as a marketing tool. It's Pride Month. Of course, like you waited 15 years, dog. How long you been playing in the NFL? This was just like this came out as, hey, we're selling jerseys, NFL. We're just a part of the marketing monster, and that's what it is. I wasn't saying anything other than that. The thing is that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the hell he does on the football field. You're not seeing that, Joseph. You're not seeing you're not seeing his married life. Like if you like, are you in his DMs? Like are you watching him on Instagram?
I don't have to be in his DMs. No, that's
but that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. So that's where your mind goes every time you see him. Every time you see him, you think of him doing that.
You can try to justify it.
I'm not justifying anything, Joseph. I'm just saying that's where your mind goes. And
that's where it's supposed to go. As a man,
that's where your mind is going, Joseph.
Now he can go out and get some help. He can go out and get some help and have another man show him how to be another man. It's okay to do that. Now he may have been molested growing up. Something may have happened to him. That's another subject within this.
It is another subject. Now you're speculating and
look. All I'm saying is
you knew this was going to be a controversial topic.
All I'm saying is he used the NFL used him. He used the NFL to sell jerseys and make money because of the month we're in. Like I find this is a nothing topic to me. Like I can't wait. Hold on, Joseph. Damn, man. I can't wait till the day, like Shawn said, till we're not talking about it, because to me it was like, oh, another one, like it's something like magnificent. We've seen this so many times. Why is it such a big thing thrown in our faces? That's my question.
Desensitized to this. I don't want to get desensitized to this because that's not normal. We're living in a world, in the new world order, where they're trying to make everything abnormal normal and make everything normal abnormal. You're not doing that to me. I'm a man. I'm proud to be a man. And I'm not going to allow anybody else to, first of all, ain't no man got no menstrual cycle, okay? Ain't no man got no menstrual cycle.
Joseph, we'll have to have. I got it, Ivan. I got it.
I'm sorry.
We got it. We got to take a break because we got another guest coming. But again, it was definitely a very sensitive topic, not just for you, but for a lot of people across the country. For other people, it's not as sensitive a topic. So,
I'm just tired of our young men turning out like that. Like it's something going on, bro. It's something going on. That men don't want to be there no more.
That's the topic for another conversation, another show. You and I could definitely have that and have Ivan produce it as well. But anyway, we got to take a quick break because on the other side of the break,
Love you, Ivan.
I love you too. I got no problem. We just got to move on right now.
Yeah, we got to get out the booty buffet and back to the real food. No,
that booty buffet, that shit was hilarious. I'm not gonna lie.
Anyway, all right, Bubba. We'll see you next week.
All right,
unless you can make it on Friday, we'll holler at you then.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Very crazy, heated topic on that top of the morning topic, but it's part of what's going on in the world today that needs to be discussed because now that is entered the football world with the first active player. Because most people want to say, well, Michael Sam was a draft pick. He wasn't an active player in the NFL. So it is definitely a topic that is a very polarizing topic. And for me to at some point, again, as I said, I hope it just becomes a non-issue that someone's gay and move on. That's it. But listen, on the other side of the break, we're going to talk to our guy, talk about our White Sox. What can be done to stop this schneid that they are on? 5 in a row yesterday. We're excited after Yasmani Grandal hits that 3-run homer to put us ahead, and then the bullpen goes to shit. What can we do? I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to talk to our boy Matanuco on the other side, so keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
Take off the glasses, please. You look familiar. You got a record?
Yes, sir, he's got a record. He's got a great record. The Black Rooster, 13 KOs. Paco Aguilar, El Gallo Negro. He's got a great right uppercut.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
And Peterson lines one to left center field, a base hit in the alley, all the way to the wall. The ball comes out of the vines, racing around third, Ortega. He will score. 2-run double, Jock Peterson. Listen to this crowd.
That's the action on the Cubs radio network. 7-1 the win over Cleveland on Tuesday. Kyle Hendricks gave up 4 hits over 6 innings, no runs allowed, 5 strikeouts. Jock Peterson and Wilson Contreras, each with 2 RBIs. Contreras 2 for 4 at the plate. Peterson with the 2-run double. The Pirates doubled up the White Sox 6-3. Pittsburgh with a 4-run bottom of the 7th. Lucas Giolito 7 strikeouts over 6 innings. He walked 2 and gave up 2 runs on 4 hits. Download the free Score app. Lightning fast updates so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
Staples Connect has everything for school at amazing prices. Right now, 24-count Crayola crayons, 2-pocket polyfolders, and 4-ounce Elmer's glue are just 50 cents each. So your student won't just be ready for school, they'll be art project masterpiece ready.
It's a popsicle stick Eiffel Tower to scale.
Get more than ready for school with amazing prices for everything on your list. Visit your local Staples store or get it same day with Instacart. In-store only in 619, limit 30. Instacart delivery subject to availability. Additional fees may apply.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español? Hablo. It's hablo?
Yes.
It's hablo.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real life situations.
The app is so easy to use and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Woo! We needed a break after that one, boy. Holy sheesh, that was
fun.
It was fun. It was fun. And here's the situation. It was fun. Let's just leave it at that. But moving on, this isn't going to be so fun because my White Sox are not doing very well, and I'll take it now as opposed to a postseason or late season collapse. There's no way to be able to stand a 5-game losing streak in August or September when we know the division is probably going to be up for grabs at that particular point. The silver lining is that it is happening now, and I want to see what the hell we can do to stop this. So I want to bring in our guy, man. We've been rocking together for 4 years now, 5 years, give or take. He's one of the co-hosts of the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. You can find him on Twitter at Matt_Nuco. Guys, let's bring out our boy, a man of many different personalities and facial hairs, Matanuco. Matt, what's up, buddy? How are you?
What's up? I'm hanging in there, man. You know, it's summertime, so I had to trim off the long beard.
Okay.
You know, keeping it fresh.
I see. You know, we've seen you with a baby face look. We've seen you with the, you know, the little goatee. Then we've seen you with the beard. Now we've seen you kind of with the scruffy goatee look. You know, you're a man of many looks. Many looks. I feel you.
You know, chameleon, just trying on different things.
Well, you know what? Speaking of trying on different things, our White Sox are trying winning again because we haven't done that in about a week, and that's very frustrating for us White Sox fans. See what I did right there? And you know, your mean Mercedes is finally like 2 for his last like 50. You know, he's out. Our entire starting outfield is out. A couple of replacements are out in the outfield. What can we do to stop this schneid, and how much of the injuries is taking a mental toll on our boys?
Yeah, it's been quite a year. They're on a 5-game skid right now. They're trying to avoid losing a 6th today. They got a mid-afternoon game, I think, against Pittsburgh. So, you know, there's so many things. There's, you know, the injuries are one thing. You know, I can remember being in locker rooms when you're on a skid like this, and you just kind of sit down and look around to the guy next to you, like, what kind of weird stuff can we do to just kind of loosen it up a little bit, and stop playing so tight? You know, I know last night Yaz hit a huge homer, and then it all fell apart with the bullpen. You know, I don't know. Maybe get a little weird with something. Maybe start you know, there's you know, any number of things you can do, but you know, are they demoralized? I don't think so. I don't think, you know, like I was just scanning through the injury reports. I mean, Madrigal goes down; he's out for the season. You got issues with, how many people?
Lubov, Eloy, Engel back on it.
Right, the entire outfield. Yeah. So, you know, you got to play through it. These guys have played on many different teams, you know, all growing up, and then people get hurt. You got to play through it. I'd like to see an offensive explosion. Let's see a little bit of that. See some power, or grind out. Do something weird. Have Tony La Russa, like, I'd like to see him call more bunts. You know, me and bunting. So.
Oh, you mean like yesterday, the one Yo-Yo threw or pull Bendick off the bag? That one.
Yeah, absolutely. Put some pressure on the defense. Yeah.
You know, and I'm a big proponent of that as well. And you know what, the blog or the stat boys and the nerd boys are like, no, he's giving up and out. But it's a thing it's always called a sacrifice. Okay, you sacrifice that out to get a guy in running in scoring position. And you know, I think we just got caught in a National League park with a National League team not familiar playing the National League rules. Okay, National League teams traditionally they'll bunt a lot more than American League teams. You know, and they caught us off guard. You know, they caught us off guard big time. You can tell Danny Mendick doesn't take catches it, doesn't receive the ball at first often because his feet were crossed up. I think his left foot was on the bag, and he's left-handed. His left foot was on the bag, and he tried to reach, you know, for that ball. So if his right foot was on the bag, then I don't think it would have been much of an issue. But when you don't place a lot of teams at bunt, and you don't have to cover first often. Okay, that's not worked on. So you know, I think we got caught. It was a perfect storm of bad for us after that home run. And my thing is now, what does Tony need to do? Tony's a Hall of Fame manager. He doesn't have the second most wins in managerial history for nothing. What does he need to do to kind of help these guys off the schneid? Because here's where you look to your leaders. Here's where you look to your Braves and your Andersons, and they're looking, and the whole team as well is looking to Tony La Russa.
Absolutely. That's where his years in the dugout should come into play and be able to kind of take stock of his team and see, you know, what does this team need right now? That's what a good manager, good coach does. Doesn't just say, hey, we're going to keep doing the same thing and repeating mistakes, or just do it until you fix it. You know, that's a recipe for disaster. So, you know, he's got to look around, say, you know, are we putting good swings on pitches? Are we swinging at the right pitches and the right counts? There's so many things going on just like distractions in baseball right now. I was watching the Phillies and the Nationals last night, and Scherzer was dealing, and Joe Girardi came out of the dugout and questioned him, right? And he like
sticky.
Yeah, it looks a little sticky. Then he changes hats. Then you've got like we're looking at gloves and like hitters. I mean, so there's all these different things going on, and these is the ball sticky? Or do the pitchers have too much of an advantage? I mean, when I played, it was like if the pitchers are using the zone, the upper third of the zone, well, hitters stop thinking about lift and launch angle, because that's exactly why they're pitching up in the zone, because you're flattening out your bat and you can't hit it.
Mm-hmm.
So, if Tony La Russa is sitting in there saying, are we swinging at the right pitches? Are we approaching? Are we having good at bats? Are we just unlucky? Is the ball not bouncing our way? Then yeah, you might do something a little bit strange and weird, and like, put like rubber chickens in everybody's, locker for some silly reason. I don't know. Like the Phillies had the home run sombrero for a little while, and the White Sox had their homer chain, I don't know, do something a little strange like that. But if it's like, I haven't watched a lot of White Sox baseball, but I see their record, one of the best records in baseball. If we're not playing well, and we're not, just running on all cylinders, then maybe there's an adjustment. And maybe in a National League ballpark, maybe you have a hole in the lineup. Although Lucas Giolito would take exception to being called a hole in the lineup last night.
One of the few hits for our guys yesterday. Yes.
Try something weird. Bunt in the first inning. Put pressure on defense. You saw yesterday. That's why a sacrifice, and not even a sacrifice, but a bunt is important. It puts pressure on the defense to make a play. It instead of one step, 3 pitches and a strikeout or a ground ball, like you force the defense to move in different directions. We've had this conversation before, but it puts pressure on the defense. So Tony La Russa, yeah, that's his job right now. Figure out what your team needs and dig them out of this. Sometimes it's just coming home from a road trip, and they've been on a long road trip. So, a day away, sometimes less is more.
Yeah, today's the last day, as you said. They're about to start in about an hour and 15 minutes. They start out in Pittsburgh. Got a couple friends who flew to Pittsburgh for the game, about 5 or 6 of them, which I thought was pretty cool. But they are coming home Friday. I won't be there Friday, but I will be there Saturday. And you know what? We're at 100% capacity now, and you can't tell me that the 80 to 100% capacity of Sox Park is not going to help these guys after a long road trip, after getting their asses kicked by Houston, after losing to Pittsburgh. You can't tell me that they're not going to feed off the energy of the crowd of a damn near packed house or packed house this entire weekend.
Oh yeah, I mean, Tim Anderson's probably going to love it the most out of anybody.
Mm-hmm.
He loves to be there and put on a show. Absolutely. And sometimes that's a break. I mean, you don't want to mail it in today, of course. Dylan Cease has been, pitching okay. And he's been really good lately. But I believe he's got the ball today. So
he does.
Go out and shove. Somebody step up again. This is where if you're on that skid and everybody, if I know I'm harping on it, but if you're looking around and there's, low morale, do something strange, do something different. Everybody wear stirrups. We did that once where it was like, you get the locker room to feel a little bit uncomfortable, do something different. All of a sudden the ball, hitting's contagious. The pitchers feed off of that energy a little bit. Then you can roll into Saturday at home, and that's going to be an electric atmosphere.
Guys, we're joined by Matanuco from the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast, talking Sox baseball right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. I'm glad you mentioned that because a lot of people don't get that. Most people are never going to be in a clubhouse, and they don't understand the weird things that go around in the clubhouse, in the locker room, and they don't understand that. So when you say that, some people might be like, what do you mean? But that's the crazy shit that we do as athletes. Okay, because we're superstitious, and sometimes, and what do you think about Tony today? Just giving those guys like a day off from fielding practice or batting practice or something, just to kind of break up the monotony, because you're losing 5 in a row. You don't want to lose 6. You might just need an actual break. I know you got a break tomorrow, but and you're traveling today, so you're going to be home tonight, and you have all day tomorrow. But you'll probably be at the ballpark doing some other stuff. But how about just giving them a break and say, okay, we're going to change our regular routine? Would that be something that might help them as well?
Absolutely. I'm actually glad you brought that up. I mean, you would do that, and that's part of Tony knowing his guys, and does he understand them? Like again, is it bad at bats, or is the ball not bouncing your way, or are people tired? You're starting to get into July, that mid-season kind of, all right, now we're grinding through. And there's nothing new, nothing exciting to look forward to. Absolutely. A lot of managers will say, hey, you know what? See you at game time tomorrow. Starting lineup will be posted at 5:00, game at 7. Do what you want, get away from it a little bit, come in, and today, we always call it getaway day. Today's your getaway day. Maybe today's a good day to do it. And I think it's risky to do it on a game day. But if it's like, hey, let's get off the gas a little bit here, stop worrying, and pressing, and do it. Yeah. I mean, and again, that good point about being in the locker room and the weird stuff that athletes do, and even professional athletes that are making millions and millions of dollars, it's not like, it is like going to work, like your regular Joe going to work every day, but that regular Joe doesn't have 70,000 fans hammering him on Twitter, 3 different ways, and radio shows and media, and everybody telling him to act this way, stick to your sport, yada,
you're
yada, yada.
You're a spoiled brat. You're this.
Yeah. So the noise can get in there pretty quickly, but also just that, like I said, the one, we were on a skid one time and we're like, hey, everybody pull up your pants and wear stirrups. It changes your physical feeling in the middle of a game. And sometimes when you're on that skid, it can become a habit, a learned kind of thing. I don't know if it's weird to say, but you can get used to losing. And when you feel different physically, you can feel better in a way, or you can get, rip yourself out real quick. And again, things are contagious. If there's a lot of depression in the dugout and somebody rips a first inning double in a right center gap, all of a sudden everybody's like, hey, okay, this can happen. This, something changes, and it's something silly, but I mean, it's been happening in every sport for generations.
Yesterday you mentioned Yasmani Grandal with the homer that put us ahead 3-2, and we were, Big Frank was on the call yesterday with Jason Benetti, and they're like, maybe that's it. That could be it. That could be it to get everybody, get everyone off the schneid. And then here comes Matt Bummer, and he gives Garrett Crochet and Matt Bummer. I think Garrett Crochet gave up the 4 runs, and it's like, what the heck? Talk to you about this bullpen. Because Matt Bummer, I think, has been getting more than enough chances to show his worth. He hasn't lived up to it. Garrett Crochet he's going to have a little longer rope because he's a rookie. Not a rookie. I guess technically he's a rookie. He only was in 60 games or less than that last year, but he's a younger guy. Talk to me about that. And do we need help in that rotation? I mean, in that bullpen, because somehow I'm thinking Tony's giving these guys an audition, and if you can't do it now, I don't think Tony's going to feel comfortable using you in late August and early September when the games are starting to have more of a playoff feel.
Absolutely. There is a fair amount, and this is the safe time to do it as a manager, where you can give some guys some extra leash, and kind of say, hey, we're going to test you. We're going to see what happens. Step up, to adversity, and play well. But Crochet's obviously got a lot more leash. He's rookie-ish, I guess you'd call him.
Yeah.
And his upside is just incredible. And again, it would be beneficial. I've been a part of mound visits where it's kind of like, hey, we're going to let you go and let you keep going. Throw strikes for the zone.
Figure it out yourself.
Figure it out. It's a challenge, but it's also confidence building. It's saying, I'm not going to rip you out of here if you throw a ball, and get us in a pinch. It's like, we're going to let you work your way out of this, and the defense is behind you. It's sometimes, is a little bit tough to play the field behind it if you guys walk in the world. But at the same time, you understand why it's happening. So, do they need help in the bullpen? On paper, they look great. They're pitching well, but are they falling behind in counts? Are they leaving cookies in the middle of the zone? And our team's taking advantage of it. I was watching the game last night with Phillies and the Nationals, and I saw so many center, middle fastballs, 95, 96 mile an hour fastballs, just whiffed.
Wow.
And I'm like, you're professional hitters. You hit, those are mistakes. You're supposed to hit those.
Hit them very far. Hit them
very far. So like, again, sometimes, you're on the receiving end of that. And right now the White Sox are. So, they've got to be able, but this is part of baseball. It's part of any sport, especially baseball, where a reliever may pitch 3 times a week, and that, they come in that high stress situation, and they fail, they really got to be able to clear the mechanism, flush it, and then come back out the next day and shove and be able to locate and do what they do. Sometimes, absolutely, Tony La Russa, this is the right time to be able to feel those pitchers out. But as we get into July and start getting into August, it's really got to be like, hey, we're either, falling back in the AL Central, we're losing momentum, and now we're in really like, we're playing scared, and there's, it can go south really fast. But I think they've got the horses. I mean, Michael Kopech, I think was throwing a bullpen recently, threw a bullpen, did pretty well. So he should be back. I don't know if I'm speaking incorrectly that he is already back, but
no, he's not back yet.
Yeah. I mean, when you get a guy from the right side, that can pump it up to 102, and a guy from the left side that can do the same, that's scary stuff. We've talked about that bridge. They used to, in Philly in 08, it was the bridge to Lidge. If you can get, if you can get your starter 5 or 6 innings or 5 innings, and then you have a specialty guy in the 6th, and then you've got Kopech, Crochet, and then Hendricks, that's lights out. I mean, you can't put together a better 3-inning late in the game stretch there, even if you have Chapman and you're the Cubs.
Yeah, and because of the fact that they're righty lefty, so you may look at the lineup coming up and say, okay, well, we got 3. We got 2, because you got to face 3 is coming in. So we got 2 lefties and a righty. So okay, so I'm going to bring in a lefty in this inning. If he can get a clean inning, at the next 3 or 4 are mostly right-handed batters. So now we have to bring in Kopech. So right. now you're forcing them to use their bench and a whole bunch of other stuff. So that is a great setup that we have, and I just can't wait till Michael Kopech comes back, because we really, really, really miss him. Talk to me about the Yerminator. The Yerminator started off, he was the player of the year or the century, I think, in April, and he's cooled down a lot. He got moved down to 8th, and the only reason they didn't put him 9th is because you have the 9th guy to turn over the lineup, the order to the top. What can he do? Or what would you do if you're Tony to try and get him back off the schneid? Because it seems like they found, it's Major League Baseball. They get a book on you, quick, fast, in a hurry, and it took him about a month, and he's got to make adjustments. What do you think needs to be done for him to start producing? Maybe not the level he was in April, but to start producing and not be such a black hole.
Absolutely. Again, hitting is weird in that sense. I know he was on a serious skid. He got he got his first hit in 21 at bats last night.
Yep. Going to right field, which is
which he doesn't really do. But that's actually a good point you brought up right there. Is a lot of times if you're you might get over aggressive, and a power hitter like Mercedes, he wants to get out in front of pitches and let it fly, right? Hit those 500-foot bombs to left, center, and left. That power alley. So, it may be a different approach. Let's stretch it out with 2 strikes. Take a 2-strike approach, we always used to say, because you can see the ball a little bit longer, retrain your eyes to focus on the strike zone. You may just be a little over aggressive at the edges where we want to, bring that back into the center, and you can make hard contact. Because even if you're making hard outs, they can still be productive in a way, and in building confidence, knowing that you put a good swing on the ball. There's so many different aspects to it, but yeah, I mean, he's raking against lefties. So does he, does La Russa let him keep doing that? Maybe it could be a, there's all different routines on pregame routines on, taking a lot of swings, some extra BP, dialing it back a little bit, working more on tee work and working on taking the ball the opposite way. But that approach is it's a good place to start. Seeing him take the ball to right field, I didn't actually see the at bat, but if he lunged at it and kind of waved and poked it out there, maybe that's like stepping in crap a little bit and saying, all right, maybe that's the one that gets you rolling. But if he laced one in the right center gap and just smoked it, then I'd be like, okay, he's dialed in now. He understands the zone. He's seeing pitches better. So it could be something like that. But I feel like this is nothing unexpected with Yerman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he raked in the minors the last 2 or 3 years, and I think the fan base fell in love with him for so many other reasons besides his hitting ability. But being all world for the first 2 months of the season was obviously a big boost. So now, like you said, there's a book out on him. They know where the holes are. They figure that out a lot faster in the majors. And so as a hitter, you got to have a better approach. You got to be smarter. You got to look for different pitches in different situations. And this is actually one area where I would say that data and the nerd farm would be beneficial. Give them a little data sheet. Hey, look, they're hammering you with first pitch sliders. Go first pitch slider hunting. Change it up a little bit. You swing, you show at that once or twice, and maybe you put a good swing on, or maybe you lace it left center or turn it around. All of a sudden, the game plan from the pitcher and the catcher changes because
big time.
You just laced one. You show that. Now they're like, oh, no, that wasn't supposed to happen. Yeah. So do I go fastball in now, or do I get a cookie with a fastball? Or do I come back with that slider? Do I throw it out of the zone? Now I'm in a 1-1 count. Now Yerman has totally changed the complexion of the at-bat. So he's got to be smart enough to see that, and that's what hitters with good approaches do. So that's part of it. The mental game of baseball is the fun part. Anyway,
I agree with you. I agree. Yeah, if we could go on for hours, dude, because I love, I've become a big technical guy in baseball, thanks to Hawk Harrelson and Steve Stone. Yeah. Dude, watching those guys and their experience and just talking, and Steve Stone saying, yeah, well, right now if I'm an high fastball to get this guy out, boom, strike three, and like, whoa, and so I've learned so much, and hopefully Yermin, so I understand what you're talking about, big time, and hopefully for Yermin, and one of the things that I'd like for them to do is be more aggressive early in the count. The pitcher, I forgot the guy who pitched yesterday. I think he went before Yaz's homer in the sixth or the seventh. He had 2 batters reach 2 balls. That's it.
Yeah, he's pouring the zone.
Yeah, and you know what? If you got a guy who's pounding the zone, then go looking first ball fastball. Go be more aggressive. And especially if you're the leadoff guy in the first inning, go after him right off the bat because you're going to get another at bat. You're going to see him again. So now you can rethink it. So, that's one of the things that I'm concerned with a little bit is like sometimes if they don't make these adjustments, that fast, and you have guys and I got it. If they're 22, 24, 26 years old, it might not come to them, but this is why you have a bench coach. This is why you have La Russa. This is why you have a hitting coach and say, hey, try something a little different. Because our offense right now is they haven't, there's a power outage. There's literally a power outage. And I don't know what we're going to do because, and I just can't wait for today's game to get over so they can get back. And Friday's going to be, it's going to be insane over at Sox Park on the south side. And I think all weekend, because I'm going Saturday, I got a group of buddies from high school. And, when I was talking with the guy, I bought the tickets. And the guy's like, he goes, we're selling out. He goes, we're selling tickets really, really fast all weekend. I'm like, thank God, because our fans have a tendency not to show up. But I think, now we got a good team and now they're on the schneid and they're finally coming home after a long break. I think it's going to be pretty raucous over on 35th and Shields. And I'll be part of it on Saturday, but I'm looking forward to it the whole weekend because this is what they need. And we need to get these boys, get their confidence back. And, Michael Kopech, please hurry up and get back. Please. Hey, Matt, great stuff as always, man. I appreciate it, dude. Do me a favor, though, let everyone know where they can find you online.
Absolutely. You can find me, follow me on Twitter at Matt_Enuco, ENUCO. I'm out there chit-chatting every now and then. Check me out.
Because White Sox Twitter is a beast of its own. Let me tell you, it's not for the faint of heart either.
No.
Hey, man,
it matches the grit of the South Side. That's what I like to say.
Yeah. Oh man, yes it does. Yes it does. Hey, you got to plan a trip out to the Chi, man. I'm telling you, we got to.
It's always the wheels are always turning. I got to come out, so I will absolutely text you when I do. I feel like I need to buy a ticket in the 108 though.
You do, but you might have to get one in 108. Yes. That section is nutso.
Yes.
Hey, thanks, Papa. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
All right, man.
Thank you. Hey, guys, that was Matt Anuko from the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. And, man, yeah, it's just there's so many things that you guys don't understand when it comes to when you're in a slump. You need a slump buster, and, it happens in basketball. It happens in football. It happens in baseball. It happens in hockey. When you're on a schneid, there's just things you do. Sometimes what you'll do is you'll wear, I know what a couple of my boys played hockey in high school, all staters. And, they were on a schneid one time, and I think it was like 2 games in a row, which is it was really a schneid, but they were a good hockey team. So they wore each other's jerseys, the warm-up jerseys, okay, to go out during warm-ups. They wore each other's they switched jerseys, just something stupid like that, to get them off the schneid, because right now we're hurting. Right now we're wounded, and I don't know the mental, I don't know the mindset of the Sox right now. Is it let's win this one back home, let's win this one tonight and get the hell out of town, or let's just get the hell out of town? Because for me it's still especially when it comes to sports. Like let's attack when you're good. Like if you're not a good team, it's very different. I still say attack, but you have to be more strategic in your offensive strikes. With the White Sox, they still have tons of talent. Let's not get it twisted. You still got Yo-Yo, you still got TA7, you still got Abreu. Okay, you still got Yaz, because Yaz is supposed to catch today. Okay, you still got Andrew Vaughn. We got a lot of guys who can still rake and do some damage, but they need to come in the mindset of it's time to do some damage. And if they don't, and it's tough because you're on your heels. You lost 5 in a row. Okay, but this is what separates the good players from the great players from the stars, and the stars from the superstars. Okay, because think of all the times. Hell, just look at it in basketball the other day, which in Trae Young. Trae Young had 2 points in the second half going into the fourth quarter, and then he nails some huge threes. Why? Because he wasn't worried about it. He said, "I'm going to get another opportunity. I am who I am. I am Trae Mickey Ficky Young." And he helped bury the Sixers, So it's the attitude that I'm concerned with this White Sox team going into today, because they'll be home tonight. They'll be home by 7:00 tonight. So if you want to go out to the club and kind of blow some steam off, maybe you need to do that. I don't know what they need to do, but you need to change it up, because you're coming home on Friday, and you're coming home to a very loud and raucous Chicago White Sox fan base, because I think there's going to be 200 people in the stand. I'm kidding. No, I told you when I was buying tickets, the dude was like, "Dude,
I know it's only going to be 74."
He's like, "We're probably going to sell out." He goes, "We're probably going to sell out the whole weekend." I'm like, "Yes," because I'll tell you what, there are a few things like a sellout at Sox Park, because it just is. They're just
cavernous. It's giant. It's very spacious, and the sound carries very well there. I'll say that.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it, and they need it, and White Sox Nation needs it, because we're he talked about the 108, the guys in section 108. Yeah, they lead the charge of the meathead Sox fans, and I say that in a loving and not disrespectful way. But yeah, those guys they're all on it.
They should wear the old school shorts to get off the schneid, huh?
That would be awesome.
Shorts and high socks. Put on the
stirrups.
The softball uniforms.
Yeah.
Put on those. Get off
the high stirrups. Crazy, and the shorts. Yeah.
Do something crazy. Like I said, I thought it was gonna be the Pirates. Like I thought you're gonna blow out the Pirates, but hey, weird things have happened.
But again, they caught us when we were reeling, and they played good National League baseball, and they screwed us. Okay, we don't play very many National League teams.
Well, they don't play good. I don't say they play good National League baseball. They just play better National League baseball than you.
Yeah, they play much better National League baseball. So because we don't play National League baseball, like that bunt yesterday was that bunt yesterday with runners on first and second and third was a bunt that you would use in a tutorial. That is a bunt that you would use to show kids, to show 5, 6, 7, 8, 10-year-old kids, this is how you bunt. You talk about deadening the ball, and it went right up the line. It didn't even hit the dirt. It stayed on the edge of the grass and stayed in the grass. Okay, in the grass, and Johan was back a little bit. Johan still, or actually he was back, and then he saw when he squared up, and he started coming in. So he had the ball. Yo-Yo had plenty of time to get him, but I think the throw was a little off, and Mendick had his feet wrong. Most people aren't going to realize that. They're like, oh, it's a bad throw from Yo-Yo. No, Mendick had his feet wrong. Mendick had his left foot on the bag, trying to reach across his body and stretch for the ball. He should have had his right foot on the bag to anyway. And listen, we got to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, guys, we have more sports conversation. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
¿Qué voy a hacer cuando no tenga tu boca junto a la mía? ¿Qué voy a hacer cuando despierte y vea mi cama vacía? A encontrar la medicina que me sana este dolor. Soy un muerto que camina, que no vive sin tu amor.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
And Peterson lines one to left center field, a base hit in the alley, all the way to the wall. The ball comes out of the vines, racing around third, Ortega. He will score. Two-run double, Jock Peterson. Listen to this crowd.
That's the action on the Cubs radio network. 7-1 the win over Cleveland on Tuesday. Kyle Hendricks gave up 4 hits over 6 innings, no runs allowed, 5 strikeouts. Jock Peterson and Wilson Contreras, each with 2 RBIs. Contreras 2 for 4 at the plate. Peterson with the 2-run double. The Pirates doubled up the White Sox 6-3. Pittsburgh with a 4-run bottom of the 7th. Lucas Giolito 7 strikeouts over 6 innings. He walked 2 and gave up 2 runs on 4 hits. Download the free Score app. Lightning fast updates so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
Staples Connect has everything for school at amazing prices. Right now, 24-count Crayola crayons, 2-pocket polyfolders, and 4-ounce Elmer's glue are just 50 cents each. So your student won't just be ready for school, they'll be art project masterpiece ready.
It's a popsicle stick Eiffel Tower to scale.
Get more than ready for school with amazing prices for everything on your list. Visit your local Staples store or get it same day with Instacart. In-store only in 619, limit 30. Instacart delivery subject to availability. Additional fees may apply.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español? Hablo. It's hablo? Yes. It's hablo.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real-life situations.
The app is so easy to use and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. We just got done with Matt Anuko from the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. Man, it's always great to talk to Matt. Like I said, Matt and I have been rocking 3 or 4 years now. Great dude. He lives out in Jersey. He covered the White Sox, or he wrote about the White Sox. And the thing I like about Matt is he was actually in the White Sox system. He was in our minor league system for a few years. And so when we talk White Sox, it is something that's personal to him. Okay. Because that was the organization that kind of grew him or developed him, I should say. And yet he's got an unbelievable amount of knowledge. Okay. And which is why those are the types of guests we like to have for you here on Shawn and Maya in the morning and on SportsZone Chicago, with people who have an opinion or have an insight that you might not be privy to, and giving you the nuts and bolts of what it is, in a major league clubhouse, so great talking with him. And he definitely has to come out to Chicago, man. It'd be dope to get him out in the Chi, get him sitting down in the in the 108, section 108, and then partying at Cork and Carries at the park or Turtles or somewhere else. And so it's gonna be a really, really fun time this weekend. I'm telling you, I'm excited. Ivan, so this Saturday. So you're still on mute. Oh, they have this stuff behind you. Gotcha. So because people forget, and I did too, when they have promotions, okay, for sports teams, those promotions are done. They have to be done by the start of the season, most of them. Okay. So last year there were no fans, if you recall, but they didn't realize that in March. So a lot of the promotions that they had planned were already ordered and produced. The one we're getting Saturday was ordered. This was for last year. It's a basketball jersey. Did I ever send that to you, Ivan? No? Damn it. Okay. I should have taken a picture of it last night on TV. God bless it. Okay. This was NBC Sports Chicago is the sponsor of this particular giveaway, and it's a Chicago White Sox baseball jersey. Dude, I'm so fired up to get it. So we're going with a whole bunch of my guys from high school, and let me just tell you, it's when you get with a whole bunch of your boys, and I'm sending you the picture now. There's a certain group of people that you get with that it takes you back to like high school days. You're just knuckleheads, and I don't mean it in a bad way. I just mean like all pretenses are down. No one cares who makes how much money. No one cares what title you have. No one cares. All we do is we care about our boys that we used to hang out with in high school. Obviously life gets in the way. You got a job, you got a wife, you got kids, the whole nine. But when we're together, it's insane. This is that group. This is that group, dude. And most of us play football. Luis, what's up, Papa? UNG will be there Friday. Okay. So you're gonna get your the White Sox hats on Friday. Okay, you get the hat. Yeah. Sorry, it's not a clear picture, but that's. So if you see, that's the jersey, the basketball jersey.
That shit's still better than the Cubs fucking shit.
If you notice at the bottom of it, it actually has a silhouette of the skyline. And then on the back, they had a commercial for it yesterday during the game. On the back, it has the 4 Chicago Stars going down the middle of the back. I thought that was cool. Like 1, 2, like, I was like, oh, that's pretty dope. So we were talking, and so we're like, are we going to tailgate? Are we going to go drinking? And one of them was like, is the Pope Catholic? There's a bear shit in the woods. And we're like, okay. And I wrote, if we can tailgate, I'll carpool, we'll tailgate. I said, but I'm getting my damn shirt, my damn tank top, dude. I don't care about if I have to go and pay for more beers because I didn't get to drink as much outside, because those lines are going to be long Saturday. Those lines are going to be long as hell. Dude, the lines were long for the Southpaw t-shirt last week or a week and a half ago. They had a Southpaw. For those of you who are Cub fans, Southpaw is the White Sox mascot.
It's a big ripoff of the Philly Fanatic, but hey, it's
very similar. They're probably cousins. They're my cousin. They're my cousin, and he's a green furry dude, and his nickname is Southpaw. When we got to the gate, there were no more Southpaw shirts. That was for 10,000. Today, Saturday's going to be for 20,000. First 20,000, but I'm still. So here's what I propose. That we're going to have one dude, because there's going to be 1 or 2 guys like, oh, I don't want to drink. My wife's going to be mad if I come home drunk and this and this. Like, okay, and that's cool. If mom ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. You got to go home and live with that lady. I don't. Okay, you got to deal with her. I don't. But they're going to go stand in line. Okay, if we can find 2 guys who want to do it, that's even better. So now you don't have to stand by yourself. So now you can stand there and talk shit about us getting drunk. Okay, and that's fine. But when we're done, when the gates are about to open, then you call us, like, okay, we'll walk over with our beers, finish our beers, but yeah. So I'm excited for Saturday. It's gonna be fun. The South Side is gonna be rocking. Friday night's gonna be. They're gonna come. The White Sox. Let me explain something to you. The White Sox are gonna play in front of a crowd that they have not played before in front of in a long time, if ever. This group, that is. I want to say ever then. Okay, because there's a lot. again, and talk to the guy when I was buying the tickets and keeping in touch with him. They're probably going to sell out all weekend. These guys have not played. This team, some guys have. But this team, this year's team, has not played in front of a sellout. Just remember, it was 40% capacity opening day, 40 or 60%. So they haven't seen a full house. And as I was talking to Matt, this is going to be something that is very rejuvenating. Because if you've never played in front of a full house, I don't care what sport it is, okay, you don't understand what I'm talking about then. The energy that you get off of a full house is crazy. I said I played the biggest crowd I ever played in front of was 50,000 in my career. And I was over at West Point, Mikey Stadium. And the energy I got from that, even though they were the opposing team, was insane. So I can imagine, coming home to the South after a long road trip where you got your ass kicked for the majority of it, and your fans welcome you back screaming like freaking psychos. It's going to be good. I'm really looking forward to it. So we have what, about 40 minutes? Oh, you found another one. Yeah, that's awesome. Dude, that's pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
Yeah,
I can see a lot of.
Thanks for getting that to me, Armando.
You know what I could really see? What's really funny is I could see so many guys in Bridgeport and Canaryville wearing those things.
dude. Oh my gosh, with a backwards hat.
Yes.
Backwards hats. Let's see what else. Cargo shorts. Shorts and some Chuck Taylors.
If this was the early 2000s or 2000s, I would say jean shorts, but yeah, cargo shorts now. That is so stereotypical of a Bridgeport or back of the yards or Canaryville guy right now. That's awesome. Okay. Or now Beverly. Actually, now they moved to Beverly. The kids have moved to Beverly. So yeah, Beverly, Mount Greenwood, that whole area. And much shout out to Beverly and Mount Greenwood. That's good stuff. But one of the things I did want to talk about. And I know, unfortunately, Joseph's not here. Or maybe a good thing Joseph's not here because he's fired up. I did want to revisit that thing because we got cut off with the first player yesterday, the Los Angeles Raiders defensive lineman Carl Nassib coming out as gay, the first active player in the NFL, and the positive response he got. I'm hoping, whatever your stance is on this. Okay. It's happening. Okay. Some people are not comfortable with the LGTB community. Okay. And here's the thing, I can't speak of the trepidation that he's had trying to come out because I'm not part of that community. Okay. I haven't felt, I can't speak on the anxiety of trying to come out of being labeled or found out as being part of that community. Again, because I'm not part of that community. But I can tell you, being black and Mexican, I can talk about I can tell you about my experiences being ostracized, my experience being prejudiced or prejudged, and my experience being harassed because of something about me. And that was my race. Okay. So I can understand. Okay. I can't empathize with him specifically because that's not the path. That's not my path. But the similarities we have is that we've both been ostracized. We've both been bullied. We've both been targeted because of something about us. Okay. I only hope that, as I said earlier, that this isn't news. That if someone else comes out like, oh, okay, great, and that's great. How many sacks did he have? That's the next question. Or how many yards rushing did he have? How many touchdown passes did he throw? How many interceptions did he have? That's the thing. And you know what? Athletes are, especially this younger generation, they're a lot more accepting of it. So whether you like it or not, it's here. It's here. roll with it. It doesn't make them bad people. People looked at us like, oh, they're black, so they're going to steal. They're lazy. They're Mexican. They're lazy. And it's like, actually, no. It's a kind of like the exact opposite. Mexicans are not lazy. Mexicans work really hard, and all black people don't steal. I hate to break that to you, and all these things that they're human, and once this gets to the point where it's not news, then it'll be a much better situation. And you're still going to have, trust me, my mom told me this a long time ago, and I didn't get it at first. And then as I got older, I understood it. She said, listen, she goes, if they talked about Jesus Christ, they're going to talk about you. So you're not going to please everybody. You got to have haters, for your success. You're going to have haters because of other people's failures, if they can't get to the level that you're at, even if your level isn't very high. There's always someone who would love to have the level, have achieved the levels you have, and they're going to hate on you because of this. This is a situation where just, let him play, because that has nothing to do with his performance on the field.
I mean, it's not like they're not going to let him play at all. My whole thing is like you said, Shawn, this is a non-issue. Like, we've seen this before. We've heard, we've known that there have been gay athletes in all sports
for years.
Whether they want to come out or not, that's their own choosing. My thing is the timing and how it went about. Like, boom, all of a sudden he's the number one selling jersey. Like, I almost feel like you're being used by the NFL, Carl. If it was serious, if he really had this anxiety, and I'm not him, you know what I'm saying? I don't know his feelings. Well, then cool, you got it off your chest. Now let's play football. Why are we having a parade every single time somebody does that? Are we going to have another person come out next year and we're going to have the same type of a ordeal where everybody's like, oh my God, like we're celebrating it nonstop? It's like, okay, that's your choice. Let's move on and play football. I don't know why we have to continue to make it a big issue every single time somebody does this.
Because politics have been, thanks to 45, politics has been brought into sports. And that's unfortunate. And you're right, Ivan. As soon as we do get there, it'll be so much better. And it'll be better for us as a community, but it'll be better for the people, for the LGBTQ community, because now they'll find a comfort zone and they won't have to go around and worry about, will I be persecuted? Will I be talked about? Will I be cut? Will I not receive playing time? Will I not, because of this situation? Once it gets to that point, and I think you're right. It is Pride Month. And I think that was part of the reason that he did come out. So we're going to find out, and I think it was strategically orchestrated. Okay. But again, I personally, I couldn't give a rat's ass, dude, if he's gay or not. Can you play ball?
Right. I commend him. I commend him for donating to like a suicide prevent. Like that's a positive that's come out of this. But like everything else, like that tied with the NFL, I'm just like, I don't know. Like, was this all just like, all right, boom, we're gonna drop this on everybody now? Everybody buy the jersey, like jersey sales on top of whatever marketing they're gonna marketing stuff they're gonna make up. It's just, to me, it's like, cool. Now let's play football, Carl. Like, awesome. Like, I'm glad you're happy. Let's move on.
Yeah, I'm glad you're able to live in your truth. Okay, I'm glad you don't have to hide this situation. You don't have to hide who you are, and you can live as you want to live, and it's fine. Okay, but now let's get to football. Now let's talk about football, and because I've played on teams with gay guys, and truth be told, it didn't even. Sitting back thinking about it, like I didn't even think about it. Like when Joseph talked about, well, you're in the shower and you see everything. I'm like, and
but the fan isn't seeing that. Like the fans,
true.
The fans not out there in the locker room. They're not in the showers, dude. Like, what is that? Like that's a trip me. I was like, Joseph, he's not over there with somebody else on the field right there. You know what I mean? At the 50-yard line doing the deed. It's like none of that's going on.
Yeah. And I've never had issues with the people I played with who are gay. You know what? Can you play ball? Okay. And that's all I was concerned about. Again, maybe part of it had to do because of the fact that, I was looked at it a weird way because of the fact that I was black and Mexican. And so I understood what it felt like to be ogle for guys that want to kick your ass and for guys who just wanted to chase you and call you names and a whole bunch of stuff and to be discriminated against. And that wasn't a good feeling. So, so for me, whenever, in another marginalized group, I'm like, okay, I'm glad that you're able to come out. I'm glad now that it's not as tough a situation it was back then, because I got plenty of stories when I went to school with a lot of guys from Bridgeport. And if you're from Chicago, people of color in Bridgeport back in the 80s and 90s were not very welcome. Let's just say they were not very welcome. And so, I get it. I understand, but I'm happy for him. So now that you're able to make that statement and you're happy and you're living your truth, now I care about football. And then I don't care anymore. So, but listen, we got to take a quick break. And the other side of the break, we're going to stay with football. And I'm going to ask this question to our next guest. She covers the Bears for Heavy.com. And not only am I going to ask her about this, but also there's a plot of land over in Arlington Heights that the Bears put a bid on. We're going to talk about the intertwined, what a tangled web we weave, because who owns that land and who the Bears just partnered with as far as their sports betting. There's a whole bunch of other issues, crazy when you see all the way that this next thing is intertwined with the Bears and Arlington Heights Racetrack and who owns the racetrack and who the Bears' new corporate sponsor for casinos are. Very, very top level 1% type stuff. So we're going to talk to Beth Mishler-Elmore on the other side of the break. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
And Peterson lines one to left center field, a base hit in the alley, all the way to the wall. The ball comes out of the vines, racing around third, Ortega. He will score. Two-run double, Jock Peterson. Listen to this crowd.
That's the action on the Cubs radio network. 7-1 the win over Cleveland on Tuesday. Kyle Hendricks gave up 4 hits over 6 innings, no runs allowed, 5 strikeouts. Jock Peterson and Wilson Contreras, each with 2 RBIs. Contreras 2 for 4 at the plate. Peterson with the 2-run double. The Pirates doubled up the White Sox 6-3. Pittsburgh with a 4-run bottom of the 7th. Lucas Giolito 7 strikeouts over 6 innings. He walked 2 and gave up 2 runs on 4 hits. Download the free Score app. Lightning fast updates so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
Staples Connect has everything for school at amazing prices. Right now, 24-count Crayola crayons, 2-pocket polyfolders, and 4-ounce Elmer's glue are just 50 cents each. So your student won't just be ready for school, they'll be art project masterpiece ready.
It's a popsicle stick Eiffel Tower to scale.
Get more than ready for school with amazing prices for everything on your list. Visit your local Staples store or get it same day with Instacart. In-store only in 619, limit 30. Instacart delivery subject to availability. Additional fees may apply.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español? Hablo. It's hablo? Yes. It's hablo.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real life situations.
The app is so easy to use and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago on this Hump Day edition, guys. Man, we had a phenomenal show to this point, and it's only going to get better. Our next guest, she covers the Bears for Heavy.com, and man, we have a lot to talk to her about. So let's get right to it. You can find her on Twitter at, I love her new handle, Bear Down Beth. I love it. She also writes for the Bear Report as well. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya. Beth Mishler-Elmore. Beth, how are you?
Hey there, Shawn. How's it going?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We had a very spirited show earlier today. It's been, with the whole, I just forgot his name, Carl Nassib conversation, and it's been spirited. It's a very polarizing topic, And let's just start off with that before we can get to the best football team ever created in the Bears. But how did you feel about it yesterday? A lot of it I thought was staged, and maybe so because it is Pride Month. But at some point, I was just like, okay, great, that's fine. Is he still good? Is he gonna continue to sack the quarterback? What was your thought when he came out and on Instagram?
I thought it was very cool. Obviously first time something like that happens, it's a landmark moment, and I thought it was neat. At the same time, I don't really follow the Raiders, so I kind of moved on immediately. It was almost like, okay, what are the Bears doing? I did think it was interesting. Kind of one of the things I did note was lack of response around the league. I mean, I saw like JJ Watt and Saquon Barkley kind of support him publicly, but I didn't really see anybody other than a Raider say anything. So that was kind of interesting. I was kind of wondering if anybody was really going to stick their neck out there like Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers or one of the bigger names and say anything about it. But yeah, in terms of like, I also thought it was curious, like the jersey sale info came out right away with that too. And so when you're saying it's staged, it's kind of like, yeah, it is Pride Month. And when Michael Sam came out several years ago, it's interesting too, to kind of compare the reactions there, right? Because I mean, he was the reigning SEC Defensive Player of the Year, and he didn't make a roster. And so it's interesting too, the racial dynamics that come into play with these things. Sam was treated very differently than what's going on right now. And so that's, I'm going to be kind of curious to see Carl is Nassib. I'd seen him in Hard Knocks like once before this, and I knew him best as the Hard Knocks guy who was like explaining how to best, double your financial income. And so other than that, I hadn't really had many thoughts on it. It was just kind of like a bunch of scattered thoughts because he's not a Bear. Now, if he were a Bear, I'd have a lot more to say about it. But it'll be interesting to see, too, how John Gruden handles the media circus could come along with a storyline like this throughout the season.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think Chucky's is the guy, one of the better guys to do that. Because he'll steer right back to football. Like, and I think it's great, but we got football games to win, and we're gonna, so I think it's cool. But again, for me, I was happy for him that he's able to live with himself. Okay, yeah. but now it's time to, it's about football at this particular point. And right before, I don't know if you caught it when you're in the green room, but I'll be happier, when the day is where this is not newsworthy, where it's not an issue, where no one really gives a damn what you do in your personal life, because it's not helping me. And that's the one thing about football. We've come from different backgrounds and socioeconomic statuses and different home situations. And you know what? Everything was left at the door. Everything was left at the doorstep because, it takes 11 guys. It's not like basketball where I can, one guy can control the majority of the game or win the game, or baseball. We need all 11. And you know what, those bonds that we had, that I built were despite, him being rich, him being white, him being poor, him coming from the ghetto, him coming from the white projects, him coming from this. It didn't matter. All it is what, you sack the quarterback, you block that linebacker, you throw touchdown passes, you catch touchdowns. You rush touchdown. That's all we cared about. And that was pretty cool. And that's why I love football so much, because it really, up until a couple years ago, all that was not even what was left away from the football field and our discussions of football. So, but we do need to discuss our Bears.
Yes.
This whole Arlington Heights deal. Let's talk to me about this. We've talked about, one of the guys, Michael Halatek, who's on our platform, he hosts a show called Halatek Hall. He proposed a spot to build a new stadium, Burnham Harbor. Like, if people don't know Chicago, Soldier Field is on landfill. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the lakefront is landfill. And he said Burnham Harbor was landfill. They dug it out. He said they can fill that in, build a stadium, or take over the old McCormick place. Okay. And, or sell. There's a whole bunch of things. You can keep them here. But talk to me about how serious you think this is, them actually going to Arlington Heights, because, and here's why, stick with me. And as I'm sure you all know, they're trying to buy Arlington Heights, which is owned by Churchill Downs. And then the Bears came and they partnered with Bet Rivers Casino. Is that the official sports book of the Bears or whatever? But the people who own sports book Bet Rivers Casino is Churchill Downs. Right. And the people who own the land at the Arlington Heights racetrack is Churchill Downs. So now there's so many crazy things. So how serious is this that the Bears are really going to move out of the city in finally for the first time in their existence, except for what, 02, 03?
Yeah, right. The brief champagne.
Bears.
I would. It's hard because I'm not there. I'm in Madison, and so I'm not exactly on the beat with this one. But I will say this is the first time the Bears have ever done anything with like sportsbook or gambling ever, and that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And if you follow the paper trail, connect the dots, like you said, they're owned by Churchill Downs. Now, it could be nothing. It could also be a way to kind of gauge a partnership for the future. And I thought Lori Lightfoot's response was pretty telling last week, right? She brought up the date as to when Chicago, you're leased here until 2033, she said. And then they kind of responded with not only this, but I don't know if you saw Pro Football Talk. Mike Florio had an article earlier this week saying that, they were gauging fan interest and they were surveying fans across Illinois and asking their opinions, right? Like, what do you think of the Bears move to Arlington Heights? Would you go? And to me, these moves all suggest a more than just, I want to kind of mess with the mayor, and I want to kind of mess with our lease, and I want to kind of try and mess with these negotiations where we could up capacity by like a measly 7,000 people, as opposed to moving to Arlington Heights. I think the McCaskies are serious about making money. That's one thing I think we all agree on about them. And this would be an opportunity fiscally for them to make a lot more than they are currently. So I think maybe with everything that's going on, they're pretty serious about it, and they're at least dipping their toes in the water. Now, I'd like to know what their bid was. I think Tom Waddle was joking that they like $4 or something like that. But because that would tell us right there how serious they are. But that I don't have that information. So
the thing about that is like if they do get that land like double, triple, quadruples in value instantly, whether they do anything with it or not, because now the Bears own it.
Right.
And I, from a meathead Chicago Bears fan that I've been since I've been like 5, okay, I don't want them to leave the city, okay, but from an educated kid who went to college, I'm like, well, shit, leave the city. You have a brand new anywhere between a $2 to $4 billion stadium, because that's what it's going to have to cost. Now you have parking. Now you have WWE events. You have, now we can possibly hold more concerts in the winter when you can't use Soldier Field. You can have, maybe more NCAA things, a whole bunch of other things that can be used there. And if you're about money, then you're about money. And here's the perfect thing. But the meathead Bears fan in me from back in, with Bob Avellini and Mike Phipps as a quarterback is like, no, don't leave the city. Don't leave the city, please.
Yeah, I mean, there's something iconic about Soldier Field. When I heard this news, we haven't been there last year, obviously with the pandemic and everything. But now that I'm back in this area, we went and bought tickets to a game this year immediately, just because I don't know if it's going to always be there, and I want to have the Soldier Field experience because, I mean, it's not the greatest. You get there and it's, good luck if you're driving. But it's compared to a lot of other stadiums, I feel like just the aura and the air and the history alone is just the feeling of being there is incredible. So I feel you there. In terms of it being serious though, I'm thinking the Bears are a lot more progressive leaning lately than they have been in recent years. McCaskey's coming out with statements and he's being bold politically in terms of how he used to be. And so I'm just thinking, man, it wouldn't surprise me a bit if this was a serious bid. And then it would get intriguing because I don't think the city of Chicago wants to lose the Bears. And I don't think they'd lose the Bears. I think they'd still be the Chicago Bears. They're not going to be the Arlington Bears. That's not going to happen. But I do think that there'd be another stadium that's not Soldier Field, and it probably would have something with like a sports book involved in the name of it.
Guys, we're joined by Beth Mr. Elmore, who covers the Bears for Heavy.com, talking Bears football right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. I think this is, despite the turmoil that we're hearing now within the McCaskey family, I think this is probably the best thing, because if they want to sell, why would you sell when you don't own your own stadium? Because if they're worth, what are they, $3.5 billion is what they're worth now.
Yeah,
you get a stadium, you're looking at a minimum of another $2 billion in worth to the franchise, because of the other events that can be held there. And if they somehow get a second team here in Chicago that would use it. You know, holy sheesh. I mean, now you're talking, you know, and then now you can sell the team because now instead of $3.5 billion, you're talking $5.5 to $6 billion. You know, it's a little more money for all them to kind of divvy up, and they'll be a little happier. So, you know, I think they're very serious. I personally, Beth, would like the old McCormick place to be used as a spot for it because there's still a lot of land over there. You can build, you can have some parking, and now there's some issues with the friends of the park and things like that. Who there's a commission to keep the lakefront. You know, thank you to Marshall Field, who the Field Museum is named after. You know, kind of keep it for the people. But, you know, I think there's more than enough room there if you wanted to keep it on the lakefront. You can build a parking structure. The south lot would then be the north lot because it's on the other side of McCormick Place. You could build another lot on the other side, and I just think there'd be plenty of room. Then there's the 31st Street lot, which they could still use. I would just love to see it there, but whether or not they do, you know, we're going to have to see it play out because right now it's all about money. It's all about money and political favors, and you know, it's like when the Cubs when they were talking about moving to Rosemont, and the city said no, sorry, this Wrigley Field is a landmark, and they came back and Rosemont said, hey, you don't got to pay city taxes for like 10 years. All of a sudden, those landmark restrictions kind of went away. I don't know where they went, but they disappeared, and the Ricketts ended up staying in the city. So you're right. It is about money, and I'm, you know, the city doesn't want to lose that because you're losing ticket sales. Taxes on ticket sales. You're losing tax on parking. You're losing tax anything. You're losing the taxes on the hotel rooms because now people aren't going to be flying in. They're going to go to O'Hare. And they're going to stay in Rosemont, and you're a lot closer in Rosemont than you are here, and so you're losing a lot of money that way. So I think it's going to be an interesting battle. See how it plays out.
For sure. I'm ready for the soap opera.
You and me both. I get my bag of popcorn and just watch it. But let's get to the stuff on the field. Justin Fields is now the whole situation is like, okay, Justin Fields is number 2, and he's come out, and maybe he was told to come out and say, hey, you're okay with this, but now he's resigned to be in the number 2 quarterback to start the season. He said that Andy Dalton and his wife took him out. He's had nothing but high praise for Andy Dalton. You know how Andy Dalton's working with him, and talk to me about that relationship and how it's important that these two guys aren't, you know, kind of side eyeing each other. Dalton saying, you're going to take my job, and you like, I'm better than you. I need to be in there instead of you. How important is it going to be that they live in harmony and they're kumbaya?
Oh, I think that's always key. You know, you need that harmony in the quarterback's room, especially when you have a young guy coming in who hasn't experienced a lot of situations, and you have a guy who's been here for, you know, over almost a dozen years. I think that, you know, it's pretty good. I do think you're right. I think Justin was coached absolutely like Mitch was coached last year to say he's cool with being number 2. But I also think that Andy Dalton's a pretty genuine guy. I know Paul Daner, who covers the Bengals for The Athletic, and he covered Dalton for as long as he was there and had nothing but good things to say about him on the field and off. And so I think that it's just going to be key in terms of how comfortable Fields feels, right? And I think another key element that is going to be really important in terms of when we see Justin is how the rest of the Bears view him, and how like Khalil Mack sees Justin Fields versus how he sees Andy Dalton. The primary reason I'm cool with Andy Dalton going out there first is because maybe Fields isn't ready. I haven't seen him, but also like the Bears line is suspect, and I don't want to put Justin Fields out there if we don't know what we have in that line. You know, you're moving Tevin Jenkins around. He's still a question mark. I want to know. I'd rather have Andy Dalton out there kind of as gauging how good that line is than Justin Fields. But that said, you know, I do think it's important that we're not getting any snide comments or any, you know, sort of cryptic comments or weird tweets or anything from either of these guys. You know, social media is weird these days. Players use it all the time to express themselves, and we're getting nothing but positive stuff from Justin Fields. He's already doing stuff in the community with the rookies. He's going to Cubs games and plazas. It's just all good. It's all good things. And it's the same thing with Andy Dalton. You know, I'm hearing nothing but good stuff about him as well. And I've heard nothing but good stuff about him his entire career. So I'm actually excited about and Nick Foles is there too. Let's not forget.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that guy.
Foles is somewhere there, you know, and technically he's got that Super Bowl ring. I think I remember him winning. I don't remember much after that he's done.
I think you're right. I think he did win a Super Bowl.
in terms of just kind of explaining the mental toll that the league can take on a young player, and just terms of like it, Matt Nagy's been talking a lot about how Fields is even, working on his cadences and his calls at the line and things like that. I think Foles could help with stuff like that too. And I do think they have a good quarterback room in that capacity. Now on the field, we'll see. That's a big question mark, but
that's a great point. And you know what? And I mentioned it probably about a week or two ago, and I forgot about it, but how much of a help that Foles could be, Foles could, because the situation isn't the same as Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes, but you do have a guy who won a Super Bowl in that quarterback room now. You do have a guy who can help, and it's not going to be the starter, but now maybe because he's the starter, he may be able to, maybe he may get a little closer to him. Who knows? But there, you do have a Super Bowl winning quarterback in that room that can help this kid, and it seems like to me Justin Fields is a huge freaking sponge and just soaking everything up that he can. I think he understands, he's wise beyond his years. That's for sure. I can tell that. And I think he's fine with it because he realizes he's going to be here for the next 10 years, 10 plus years. Okay. And he doesn't have to start right away and win a Super Bowl in 2021. That'd be nice, but he doesn't have to do that because he's got time. So I really like this kid. I really like his moxie, his makeup. And I think he's going to be, I think they finally, as I said it before, and I will have no problem saying it a trillion more times, they finally got the quarterback position right.
Agreed, 100%. I love his attitude. Like you said, moxie is the right word. He's got a lot of it. I really wanted to like Mitchell Trubisky, with the Ditka Christmas, the Ditka dressing up his Ditka
sweater,
Christmas sweater, all that stuff. But he always just felt so forced. And for me, Justin Fields feels very unforced. He's very natural. He's just a natural leader. And when he speaks, the confidence, it just oozes with confidence. It's just so refreshing to watch your quarterback and think, okay, I believe in this guy. This guy's going to go out there and take care of business. Where instead of just kind of like, when your quarterback is talking, I haven't experienced that once with Justin Fields. I can't wait to see what he's got. And, I like the things that he's saying. He's saying, of course I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm a quick learner. I don't make the same mistake twice. Mm-hmm. And you've got his coaches and everybody who's worked with him his whole life saying the same things, backing him up. And so, I can't wait until he gets on the field and proves a lot of people, Dan Orlovsky, wrong.
You know what? I agree. Guys, we're joined by Beth Mr. Elmore, who covers the Bears for Heavy.com and also writes for Bear Report, talking Bears football right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. He even said that one of the things I think was really, when I talk about moxie and his poise, when he was posed the question, well, you were at a Cubs game, are you a Cub fan? And, and he gave the very good politically correct answer. He's like, I don't want to get into it. He goes, I'm a Chicago fan, so I'm going to root for the Cubs and the White Sox. A true Chicago, we're like, pick one, but we're like, okay, you're not really from here. So, okay, you don't have to pick one. So you're okay. But his ability to dodge that blitz and just sidestep it and handle it the way he did is literally is what I'm talking about, is his composure under pressure. And I along with you and the rest of Bear Nation, can't wait to see how he does when he's actually running the show, whether it be this year due to injury or just outplaying him, or if it's next year. I just can't wait to see how special. And I think that's the problem, Beth, is like are for this. And I think a lot of us, even people who aren't very knowledgeable football fans, see a difference in this draft pick, in this quarterback than we have, and they want it on the field now. But he might not be ready. He might be ready, but chances are he might not be. So, we're just like, no, throw him out there now. We want him. And, patience does, good things come to those who wait. It's just, we don't want to wait another year or so, or 6 games or 1 game.
Yeah. I mean, especially, he's already saying the right things too, like dissing the Packers, right? I mean, I want to see this guy play. I want to see him play the Packers. That's what I want to see. But I don't want him to play the Packers until he's ready to be on that field. And I guess the primary question I have is whether or not Matt Nagy's going to know when that is and is going to handle him properly and is going to let him start when he's ready to start. And he's suggested as much, but Nagy is also,
lied to us.
I was going to say Captain Word Salad because he's all over the place. He's just got so much just different thing every time he comes up to the mic. But
did you say Captain Word Salad?
Yeah. Yes.
Beth, I'm gonna have to use that. I like that.
It's all over. It's his favorite food for sure.
Speaking of Nagy, thank you for bringing that up because that was going to be my next question for you. How are we going to get a guy who decides to run the ball, because he's got a phenomenal running back room now? Okay, we've got David Montgomery, who is a stud that we know. Then he's got Damian Williams, who was the star in the Super Bowl. Okay, then he got Tariq Cohen coming back. Then you have Khalil Herbert that you drafted. And let's not also forget you signed it as an undrafted free agent, CJ Marable. You have a stud running back room. Do you think Nagy has done enough self-scouting? Because they claim they self-scout. They claim they do that. And they look at themselves and get better. Do you think that he's done enough self-scouting to say, hey, listen, we ran the ball really well last year. It's going to help our offensive lineman, our new left tackle, to fire out and move people, which he loves to do. It's going to help our right tackle, whether it's Jermaine Ifedi or Larry Borum, to get right to move people, what he loves to do, and run the ball? Or are we going to see Matt Nagy saying, I got a shiny new toy that in waiting, I'm going to practice and make sure he's ready to throw the ball 50 freaking times a game?
I wish Matt Nagy had shown us enough to make me believe in him. He hasn't. I don't hate on Matt Nagy as much as a lot of other people do, but at the same time, I'm not one of his supporters or defenders, or like, he's really just a good coach either. He's not shown us that he is capable of making adjustments after his bouts of self-scouting. That being said, I think David Montgomery's last season was a breakout one, and I think that Matt Nagy is going to lean on him a little bit more than he did last year. And I also think that because I'm not so sure Tariq Cohen is going to be back right away. He was kind of hobbling around last week, and they say he's supposed to be up and running around training camp. And we're going to see a lot then, because if he's not in pads and working out in late July and August, I'm going to start to wonder if, something's extra, if his recovery is taking extra long, because he got injured in week 3 of last year. And so he had almost the entire year to kind of rehab that too. And in December, he was saying it was the hardest thing he's ever done. And while he's back out there and he's participating, he's not participating. And so I've got my eye on Tariq Cohen right now in terms of the running game with the Bears. That being said, your original question, I mean, we all want Matt Nagy to do the right thing, and to, if he in fact did self-scout, then maybe go with what works and lean on the running game a bit more, because like you said, that's what Tevin Jenkins likes to do. You want to get him comfortable. You got a couple new rookie O-linemen in there. Get them, and they're both pretty good against the run from what I understand. Let's go. Let's do it. You've got Damian Williams in there who's ready. He's, seems
set out
great
last year, and he's fired up for this year.
And I think what Nagy's going to do is lean heavier on the run game. And then he brought in a lot of speed this offseason. He brought in Demir Bird. He's got Marquise Goodwin. And, I think he's going to use the slot receivers a lot more. I think it's going to be a lot of quick passes and the running game with Andy Dalton. And I think it's going to be kind of it's kind of what he wanted to do with Mitchell Trubisky, but Mitch couldn't complete the 7 or 8 yard passes or the long passes on occasion. And that's another thing too, is there have been a lot of long balls. A lot more than normal that I've heard about over the last couple of weeks coming out of Bears OTAs, both from Dalton and Fields. And from what I understand, they're hitting a lot of these long balls. And so if you get the run game going, you can open up the passing game in that. And I do think he's going to try it. Now, if David Montgomery has one bad game, he'll probably abandon it. But I just have to hope that since he's got Andy Dalton back there, it's going to help Andy Dalton too. He's by no means a mobile Mary back there either. So,
yeah, I hope he does that, because if he does run the ball, you're right. The Darnell Mooney's and the Birds and the Boyds, they're gonna have a field day. They're gonna have a field day. And the last question before we let you go, talk to me about your thoughts on the defense. Eddie Goldman isn't there. They were very vague about it. They just said, hey, it's mandatory minicamp, and he's not here. So he'll be ready for training camp. Then they go out and they sign a nose tackle or defensive lineman. What all this drama for a first-year defensive coordinator in Shawn Desai? Give me your thoughts on how you see this playing out, even though he does have Mike Pettin at his side helping him run the defense. Still a lot of drama for a rookie defensive coordinator.
Yeah, and I mean, Eddie Goldman has kind of been like Akeem Hicks, kind of other than last year, one of the cornerstones of this defense. I mean, he started, I think it was something like 63 games over his first 5 seasons, and so he's been a key piece. Him not being there, it seems odd because I think we all expected him to be, and I think a pretty telling thing was Danny Trevathan's response when he was asked about it. He started going on about Eddie Goldman's work ethic. Now, he wasn't asked about Eddie Goldman's work ethic, and usually when people work really hard and have a great work ethic, their teammates don't have to sit and boost up their work ethic for 10 minutes in a press conference. And so I'm wondering if he's not just taking his time until training camp, because he's going to get paid as long as he shows up when training camp hits on the 27th. If he does not show up, his signing bonus is in question. And I mean, that's not.
So now he's there. He's going to be there.
That's right. That's right. And so what I think is happening is he's just kind of taking an extended summer vacation break. I think he's just doing his workouts at home and he's being leisurely about his return. That's what I think. And I think that's partly why Trevathan was going into stuff about his work ethic, because I think maybe he wasn't being there. Maybe people were dogging him for that. But I think he'll be there. I've heard rumors that he's retiring. I don't know that I believe those rumors.
Well, what about COVID? Because remember, he set out last year for COVID. Could he still have COVID issues and apprehension because of COVID? And if so, why not just say it? Because then that's not an unexcused absence if that's your reason for not going, and then the Bears can't find you. And whether or not they find him, I don't know. They could have fined him up to, I believe it was like around 93,000 for missing that. But now they can't find you. If those are your actual concerns, why not just come out and say it? And everyone's like, okay, well, he's got a grandma, or he's got an aunt, he's got people around him that he's concerned about that he doesn't want to bring this back to. And everyone can respect that. Why not say that if your biggest issue is still fear of COVID?
Right. And I mean, I think it's interesting too with how pro-vaccination Matt Nagy and the Bears have been, right? Matt Nagy said he literally talks to his players every day about getting vaccinated, says his entire coaching staff is vaccinated. And so if in fact Eddie Goldman were concerned about that, we have a vaccination now, whereas a year ago we didn't. And so it just seems odd that, yeah, if that is a concern, there are a few solutions, right? I mean, there's ways to work around that now. Mm-hmm. And it just seems bizarre. It seems kind of out of nowhere because he was pretty open and candid about it last year. So where'd that openness kind of go? I think he's probably just hiding out, and he'll show up training camp and act like nothing happened.
No, after the first million questions of people asking him where it was, nothing happened. Hey, Beth, great stuff. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But do me a favor before you go. Let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Yeah, so you can follow our Facebook page. It's Heavy on Bears. It's pretty awesome there. A lot of Bears fans sounding off on a daily basis. And you can find my stuff on Bear Report for 247 Sports as well.
Good stuff. Thanks so much. We appreciate it. We'll be in touch soon.
Hey, all right. Have a good one, Shawn. Nice talking to you.
All righty. Guys, that was Beth Mr. Elmore covering the Bears, talking. Man, there's a lot, man. There's a lot, from the move to Eddie Goldman to Matt Nagy to Andy Dalton to Justin Fields to the running game to the offensive line. Lord have mercy. When can we look? They've won one Super Bowl. So so have we. Okay. But Tampa's been like a bottom feed. Well, I guess so have we for a while. But like Tampa doesn't have the history that we have. And they're coming back and they have no issues. Like the only issue that Tampa Bay had was, were they going to sign their 21st and 22nd starter to bring them all back? That was the issue. That's what they had to worry about in Tampa this past offseason. Are you going to be able to sign all your starters back? We need a new left tackle. We need a new right tackle. We got a new quarterback. We got a new defensive coordinator. We cut our first team all-pro, all NFL cornerback. There's so much going on here. So much drama. New defensive coordinator, disciple of Vic Fangio, worked under another stud, another guru in Chuck Pagano. Then he's got another guru who's working with him now next to him, and Mike Pettin. How is he going to construct this defense? How aggressive is this defense going to be? How much does his team, his defense, trust him? Now they're saying all these publicly. They're saying all these great things. Oh, he's behind the scenes. He's been, he's done a lot more than you know, and we really respect him and this and this. But then why did you show up for him? Why did you show up for him in the voluntary OTAs? All right, you're not hitting, you're just running. Okay, if a receiver catches the ball, it's two-hand. You touch him, let him know he'd have been tackled, and the receivers just keep running just to show that they would think that they would have kept going. But why did you show up for him? This is your new guy that you claim you have respect for. Is a claim you have you look up to, and he's meant a lot to a lot of people. But then you don't show up for him in the voluntary mini camps. I don't know. Just a question. Just a question. I don't know. Listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, the last break of the show, we have more sports conversation. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
AutomotiveApp.com presents the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
And Peterson lines one to left center field, a base hit in the alley, all the way to the wall. The ball comes out of the vines, racing around third, Ortega. He will score. Two-run double, Jock Peterson. Listen to this crowd.
That's the action on the Cubs radio network. 7-1 the win over Cleveland on Tuesday. Kyle Hendricks gave up 4 hits over 6 innings, no runs allowed, 5 strikeouts. Jock Peterson and Wilson Contreras, each with 2 RBIs. Contreras 2 for 4 at the plate. Peterson with the 2-run double. The Pirates doubled up the White Sox 6-3. Pittsburgh with a 4-run bottom of the 7th. Lucas Giolito 7 strikeouts over 6 innings. He walked 2 and gave up 2 runs on 4 hits. Download the free Score app. Lightning fast updates so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
Staples Connect has everything for school at amazing prices. Right now, 24-count Crayola crayons, 2-pocket polyfolders, and 4-ounce Elmer's glue are just 50 cents each. So your student won't just be ready for school, they'll be art project masterpiece ready.
It's a popsicle stick Eiffel Tower to scale.
Get more than ready for school with amazing prices for everything on your list. Visit your local Staples store or get it same day with Instacart. In-store only in 619, limit 30. Instacart delivery subject to availability. Additional fees may apply.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español?
Hablo.
It's hablo?
Yes.
It's hablo.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real-life situations.
The app is so easy to use and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. We just got off with Beth Mishler-Elmore, who covers the Bears for Heavy.com and writes for Bear Report. And it's a lot of questions. A lot of questions going into this season. And, you know, I am as big of a Bear fan as I am. You know, I'm concerned. I'm concerned. My main concern is the guy calling the plays. That's my main concern. I'm sorry. Actually, no. Let me take that back. I'm not sorry. That's my main concern. Okay. This team has more than enough talent to do well. This team has more than enough talent to get to the playoffs. This team has more than enough talent to go deep into the playoffs. You have to establish identity, which is something that he hasn't done. Bill Lazor's the one who established the identity for us last year. It worked until Matt Nagy decided to start calling plays later in the season, toward the last game of the season against the Packers and in the first round of the playoffs. So you have the team. You have the team. Are you going to put them in the best position to be successful? That's your job as a coach. I don't know. I don't trust that he does. I don't trust that he will. I really don't. So having, you know what really suck? And here's why, Ivan. I think they have more than a couple of years this year left. I don't think they're on the hot seat. You have time with Justin Fields. And the thing is, you know, Beth just talked about how the long ball has been very prevalent at camp at Hallis Hall. That's not a good thing for me. That makes me think that he's going to want to throw the ball long. Like, dude, you got to run the ball.
Look, you know where we stand. We're running the ball as opposed to. Yeah, I would say there needs to be a little bit more of a balance. I mean, also, but the thing is the philosophy of the short pass is being a substitute for the run. I get it, but sometimes that shit don't work. You know what I mean? Sometimes you need somebody to go ahead and be able to run between the tackles. The thing is that I feel like whatever they do, whether it be Justin Fields, and I know it's going to be Andy Dalton, I think Andy Dalton's going to be fine, and I think no matter what, like you said, Matt Nagy's going to have more years. He's going to have more. He finally has his quarterback that he chose. There's no. I mean, the way that George and Ted Phillips, they talk about Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy. You could tell that there's some. Yeah, you could feel it. There's a connection. Like they want them to be the guys. Like no matter what, like they are going to be the guys to get us another Super Bowl and bring us continuous success. But that's fine. Just make it work. I'm about. I want to make it clear. Matt Nagy to this point, there's a lot of questions, bro. A lot of questions. Everything that we said, maybe not everything. There's times where it's like, man, maybe we're unfair. But then you go ahead and you watch the next week, and it's like, damn, he did it again. So I feel like he has a lot of growing. I think that a good quarterback solves a lot of a lot of those problems for him. You know what I mean? And I think Andy Dalton is a good enough quarterback to get the Bears with this defense and the team that they have, the playmakers that they have right now. I feel like you could get him into the playoffs. This team was a playoff team last year with Mitch Trubisky. You know what I'm talking about? So it's like I don't fear Andy Dalton starting. My thing is Matt Nagy going to be the same Matt Nagy and not, put his players in the best position to win? I'll say that.
That's the concern we have, and we're going to find out. And I just don't trust it. I don't trust him. I really don't. So that's where I stand with it, and I know that's where you stand with it. How about the Bulls last night? You know the Bulls played? I'm kidding. The NBA draft lottery was last night, and our Bulls had a chance. They traded their number 1 pick this year to the Orlando Magic for Nikola Vucevic. However, it was a top 4 protected pick, meaning if the Bulls failed to make the playoffs, which they did, and they earned the lottery, which they were, and they were in the 4th slot or higher, then that pick would stay with the Bulls. So that would have been awesome had the Bulls been able to get, they got Vucevic, but then we're able to get a top 4 pick. Hell, top 1 pick would have been phenomenal, but nonetheless, I digress. It didn't happen. The Bulls pick came in at number 9, which meant that it stayed with Orlando. So Orlando now has 2 first, and the Bulls are out. No first round picks this year because of Vooch. Your thoughts, Ivan, on the Bulls not getting the top 4 pick that they were hoping for?
I mean, it was a crapshoot. It was a crapshoot. You know what I mean? It's unless you were going to get a frozen card in there, a bent corner somewhere. I don't think the Bulls had any shot. And it is what it is. Vooch is fine. I'm happy with Vucevic just because you could see that there was something building between him and Zach. And we have. Well, it's just pretty much him and Zach right now. Pat Williams is blossoming. I just think he needs to be more aggressive. I'm fine with Vooch, man. I'm fine with Vooch. Like I said, the lottery is exactly that. You know what I mean? And not only with where the ping pong balls fall, but with the players. Like it's a crapshoot. So you could go ahead and have a top 4 pick, but like how many of those top 4 picks are really panning out? You know what I mean? What are you really taking a shot for? When you're really taking a shot with the top 4 pick as well. Like, I mean, where's the last guaranteed superstar? When was the last one?
I mean, Zion's okay. John Morant's pretty good.
I mean, somebody that just shot at LeBron James.
Not superstar. Yeah,
it's LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony. Those are the last 2 that were like, man, you got to hit them. They're gonna change your franchise. So, like for me, man, I don't know. I just feel like focus on free agency. Like you have a team now. You have the foundation, the building blocks to put something quality out on the court. go focus on getting a free agent in here.
You know, you said something, and in regards to you don't even know what you're getting with kids. You know, in the lottery, it's still a crapshoot. Did you see? Let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta Hawks, and Philadelphia 76ers series. Ben Simmons, and he's been getting abused on social media and talk shows, but he deserves it. Okay, you put up this stat, and this is again all 7 games of put that up there again, please. Of his production in the fourth quarter. He's 100%. Don't get me wrong, he's 100% in the fourth quarter, but in 7 games he's taken 3 shots. Okay. This is and then in game 7, he bypasses a dunk when he's underneath the rim to kick it out. See, this is the problem I have with the NBA. This is the problem. Okay? And listen, I am not talking about Ben Simmons, the young man. I'm not. I'm talking about Ben Simmons, the basketball player. Okay? The Ben Simmons, the basketball player, has shit for confidence right now. This is what happens when you start giving people a shitload of money before they've done anything. This kid came out 1 year, I believe it was, okay, and he doesn't have the fundamentals. He doesn't have the mental toughness. But Philly, you know, in order to keep him, because that's what everybody does, gives him what was his contract? I want to see his contract extension. I'm sorry, here it is. 5 years, $167 million max. He got the max. What the frick has he done? Okay, 160. He's making $30 million to do jack shit.
He's making $30 million off of potential, and honestly, that's why Shaq said what he said, that he would have punched his ass if he walked in that locker room. Like, you did that. Like, that's what you do. Like, what's the point of even having you out there? You know, and the thing is that I feel like the NBA and to some extent the fans want to dub everybody the next. It's always the next. Everybody's going to be a superstar. Everybody's a star. And then there's tiers to the shit. Well, when are we just going to go ahead and make it very clear? There's one upper echelon, and then there's not. You know what I mean? Like, there's the top players, and then there's really not. These guys are getting paid like top players. Like their performance matches, and when it comes down to it, I feel like it's lacking. I feel like the NBA is lacking with quality. It's mainly potential. It's mainly potential with me and Ben Simmons. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking, but it's gonna be a tough road for him. You can't trade him for anybody. Who are you gonna trade him for?
Who wants him? You're damn right. Who's gonna want him?
Who are you gonna trade him for?
You got a guy who's soft. You're a 6'10" guy who's soft. You're soft as baby shit, and you're scared. And his refusal to dunk that ball the other day and get a foul, because he got fouled on the pass, but your refusal to dunk it shows you got no nuts. It shows that you're still a baby, and that really bothered me. You know, because this is a guy that people put a lot of money in. They had a lot of hopes for, and this is this is what you get. I'm right with Shaq. We'd have had a conversation. Like, you make all this money. We had all this money, and you had a dunk. You get a chance to dunk on somebody, and you pass it up because you're scared. Get your scary ass out of here. We don't need scared people when you're playing. This is the pros. This
Shawn,
is the best league in the world.
This man was heard talking about it afterwards, and I mentioned it on WhatsApp. I mentioned it to Lance and Jason on WhatsApp because on Monday, he's talking about switching his shooting hand. So my question is like, dog, isn't that your dominant hand? Aren't you using your dominant hand? Shawn, wouldn't you use your dominant hand when you're playing basketball or any activity? Wouldn't you use your strongest? And I know switch hitters have, you can't be ambidextrous, but if you're not ambidextrous, if you're not having success with this, if you're not having success with your strong hand, what the hell is this switching to this hand gonna do? Like, are you suddenly gonna mentally click, and all of a sudden you can start dunking at people? No, I feel like they gave Ben Simmons a lot of money, giving young cats a lot of money early. They probably just got late. I don't know. I don't think Ben Simmons.
No, he has a
wants to play basketball. I don't think he wants to play basketball. Like, doing that performance like that, a performance like this, I don't think you want to play basketball, dog. And look at the demeanor, Shawn. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm here. Oh, I got to pass you the ball. Pass you the ball. I'm here. That's what it seems like when I watch Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, I don't think has the mental fortitude. I think him and Joel Embiid butt heads a lot, and I think Joel Embiid punks his ass out. I'll say that.
He's a guy. Here's the thing that, when you get guys like this, he has to be traded because the Philadelphia media and fan base, they are unrelenting. They are unrelenting. Okay, he's gonna have to go because can you imagine talking about him here? They talk about him in ESPN. Can you imagine the local media? Okay, here's what happens when you don't force people, or you get people who are just talented. Okay, well, you have to look at people and say, what is this guy's makeup? Does he want to work? Because you cannot. I shit you not. You will not tell me this guy works his ass off in the offseason. There's no freaking way. There's no freaking way that you're 6'10". There's no, and you're soft as baby shit, and you don't want to dunk, and you can't score, and you have 3 baskets in 7 games in the fourth quarter of the Eastern Conference semifinals, and you can't. And look at his demeanor. Like you're not a dog. You're right. He is 1,000, but you're not a dog. No. And that's the thing that when you sit down with somebody, there's certain people that you look at. You look at Logo Lillard, game time, a game time Dame. That's a dog.
And this is what Jimmy Butler was speaking on. This is why Jimmy is not in Philadelphia anymore. Is because you got soft players, not non-dogs. You know what I mean? You got softer players that are here supposedly given this, and it's handed to him. He's handed the Robin role. He's handed the on the cusp superstar type of a role. He's handed that type of a money. He ain't playing like it. You're gonna give the man everything. What the hell does he got to do? He ain't got to do shit. So I feel like some part of that has gone to his head. I just get him out of there. Get him out of there.
You're probably gonna have to eat it. You're probably gonna have to eat something.
You're probably gonna have to eat it. You're probably gonna have to eat it. But I think it'll be best for him. Hopefully, it'll be best for him because for me, the embarrassment of getting run out of Philly and talked about like this, you have to step your game up, or you're going to be out of the league soon.
So he did.
The next shot for Ben Simmons is his last shot, I would say.
Well, no, he's not out of the league. He's got a couple years left on his contract. So when his contract's up, he'll be out of the league.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, because no one's going to cut him. But he already made one move to start. He's not. He declined an invitation to play in the Olympics, which I'm good. Like I don't want your little sissy ass supporting me and representing me in the Olympics. So he declined an invite to play with Team USA. Isn't that the jersey you're wearing too? Yeah. And so he's going to work on his game. Well, no shit, Sherlock. How about you work on your game every summer? Okay, work on your game every summer. And here's the thing: you give this guy, and you know what? And teams are, I blame all the NBA teams, okay? Because you give these guys this money and they don't do shit. You give these guys money and free throw time, crunch time comes when they need free throws or you need buckets and they don't produce. He hasn't done a damn thing his whole career except potentially be good. That's all he did was potentially be good. Okay, that's all he did. He hasn't done jack shit for this franchise for nothing. And you gave him $167 million for a guy who you now and now the NBA knows he is mentally soft.
I feel like they're cookie cutter, like the NBA. Like you'll see the frame, you'll see the size, and then I feel like they almost go past the mental. It's like, man, he's gonna play ball. Like he's just gonna all of a sudden be.
Look at the size.
Yeah, look at the size. Like, he's all of a sudden gonna be. He's probably a product of a great situation. He's probably comfortable at UCLA. You know what I mean? Like he was comfortable when he was in college finding success. You know what I mean? You was the man, and it's easy to be the man when not everybody's the man like you. You know what I mean? Not everybody has your size and abilities. But when you get to the NBA, and everybody could do what you do, and people could defend you. It's a different story, and I feel like that's been the problem for Ben Simmons since he's came in the league. Well, and also, where's he gonna play? Is he a point guard? Like, let's be real. Should the man be a point guard at this point? I don't understand it. But like, what position should he play? Like, what position is he? He's talking about switching hands. He's playing whatever position they decide. You know what I mean? Playing point guard from the paint. Like, it don't make sense to me.
Here's what he needs to do. First of all, you're 6'10", okay? You're 6'10". You don't have the handle to be a point guard. You don't want to distribute. You don't want to facilitate. You don't. Good point guards facilitate, and they'll kill you if they need to. Okay, a la Isaiah Thomas, a la Magic Johnson, a la John Stockton. Like, they don't need to score 30 points, but they can. They can if it comes down to it. All right, then, bump it. I'm taking it. I'm putting you on my shoulders today. We're doing it. He can't do that, and he's exposed. Okay, this is a perfect storm of bad. We have a guy who has been given everything. He was at LSU for 1 year. So for me, it's the fundamentals. The fundamentals weren't there. They're not there. Your body's not there. Okay, you're only 18, 19 years old when you come out. They heap you with praise and money and this, and then you refuse to work. You refuse to work. And I don't give a damn. You could argue with your mama, because you ain't arguing with me, because I could tell. I've coached basketball. I've coached football. And I'll tell you when a guy has put in work in the offseason. I can see when a guy has put in work in the offseason. This dude does not work. Does he hit threes? Do you see him? You see him and one? Do you see beautiful passes? Do you see him rebounding, taking it coast to coast? No, you don't see him doing this shit. Do you see him playing, he plays defense. Okay, good. Well, you should. You're 6'10" and you're long as hell. Because if you're going to play defense at 6'10", long as hell, what purpose would you have on that basketball court? Because you're not – some people are good at everything. Not great at one thing, just good at everything. He's not even good at everything. He's not even good at everything, and he got $5 million, 5 years, $167 million. This is the team. The teams have to say, hey, listen, we can't just start, because this is quality. This is horrible basketball. What I've talked about, the lack of fundamentals of basketball players, it's the quality of basketball is gone down. When you see players like this who can't perform, who are given a boatload of money because of their what's the P word, Ivan? Their potential. Potential gets you fired. You saw, dude, if Doc Rivers had hair, he'd pull it out. And everyone's talking about Doc Rivers being a bad big game coach and this and this. Okay, that's up for debate. But what can he do if this guy doesn't want to shoot? What can he do? Now you're going to take him out. So now you got a $30 million a year guy on the bench. If I were Doc, I would have taken that criticism. Say, hey, listen, in Game 7, if you look at Game 1, 2, 3, 4, show that stat again, please. You took it in Game 1 through 6. In Game 1 through 6, he was 2 for 2, 0 for 0, 1 for 1, 0 for 0, 0 for 0, 0 for 0. He's not giving me much in the fourth quarter. I need somebody. We need to win this series. We lost 3 games. They lost 3 games in Philadelphia of the 4. That's an embarrassment. That's an embarrassment as a professional athlete that you are this bad. And so now he wants to go work on his game. No, don't give me that bullshit. You need to work on your game every year. This is your profession. This is your job. You're just fortunate that you have a guaranteed $167 million contract. But let me tell you something. You're not going to be able to outrun all the criticism that you deserve as a basketball player, not as a person. As a basketball player, you're not going to be able to outrun all that criticism, because you're going to be one of the biggest busts there have been. You're going to be like the Greg Odom from Ohio State. You're going to be one of those guys. Odin, just with a max deal, because right now you're a horrible basketball player. You are mentally soft. Okay, you crumble in the times where you as a max player should be thriving, should be demanding the ball, and you crumble like a house of cards.
Him and Embiid should be the biggest bullies in the East. Like they really should, and I don't think he's that type of player. I don't know if It's confusing. It really is. You draft for potential. Like, I know you said potential gets you fired, but you draft for potential, but you don't give this man that type of money. Nope. You don't give that type of money to something like that. That is an egregious mistake. Now, I don't know. Can he salvage his career? Yeah, I think he's young enough to where he could find a switch, flick that switch, dude, and become the player that people think that you should be. Then all more power to you. But as of right now, I don't want you on my team.
You see how many people hit Ben Simmons to the Bulls? Get the fuck out of here. I don't want him on our Bulls. No way. I don't want him here.
Talk about my Bulls? Talk about my Bulls? No. I don't want him on there.
Dude, Daniel Tyson will knock his ass down in the first practice.
Nope.
No, man. I don't want anyone who soft as baby shit anywhere near his Bulls team. I don't care what type of
stay away.
You're right, James. You couldn't have said it any better. That is the owner. I don't think he said, hey, if he put a gun to their heads. He didn't put a gun to the head of the Sixers organization. Okay, Jamar Harp, you ain't lying. He would get his ass whooped in Chicago. You're damn right if he playing like that. But James talked about it. You know what? This is the organization. This is the organization's fault. Okay, and basketball in general, because they're just willing to give. It was Charles Barkley who talked about it years ago, and he said, "I hate the way it is now." He goes, "As soon as you come out of college, you get a shoe deal." He said, "When I was playing," he goes, "you had to earn it. You had to be an all-star. You had to do something. Now everybody got shoe deals. They're making a shoe for this guy. They're making a shoe for that guy. They're making you haven't done anything." And these kids are not used to working because they've been given everything because of AAU. And their 1 year of college, they're given everything because they know that they're college because they're hopes that they take them to an NCAA title because they know they're only there for 1 year. And then they go on, and then the organization, well, in order to keep you, well, now we got to give you a max contract. No, what the hell have you done in your 3 or 4 years or 5 years here to earn a max contract? No, nothing. But organizations do that because they want to keep these guys.
Yeah, that's why the one and done is gone, is dead. You know what I mean? Like you can't keep pumping out. And you mentioned it, Shawn. And we both did the quality of the game. At a certain point, you saw that there's going to be a rule change in the NBA with when it comes to fouls. No more of that stop and just have the defender run into you and draw a foul like that. No, you know what I mean? Like that cheap BS. Like they're starting to change. They're starting to benefit the defense a little bit more. But anyway, like you don't want to see the quality of the game because at a certain point, it's like, what are we watching? You know what I mean? At a certain point, it's like, is there any are they not gonna protect? Are we just gonna watch offensive foul? But that's another story. For me, I just feel like the players themselves are not well rounded, and that's a part of it.
That's a huge part of it. Man, we could go on for hours on this one, but you know what? My respect for Ben Simmons as a basketball player is through the floor. It's done. I'm done with that dude. I am done with him. Okay. And maybe it's because I can't. Me personally, when I played, and I know a lot of guys in the NBA. Who was it? Larry Bird was one of the guys. They said every year he came and he was fighting it. He was practicing as if he was fighting for a spot. Like, dude, you're Larry Legend. And he was like, and his mindset was, no, I need to come out and earn my spot every year. I don't get, last year was last year. 5 years ago was 5 years ago. 7 years ago was 7 years ago. This is this year. And that mentality is lost on today's kids. And, and James Rossetti said it perfectly. You're getting a fully guaranteed contract. They're done. They are done. They are checked out. I got my money.
They've won. You've already won. You've won.
And I'm happy that you're able to get, and hopefully you save that money and you invest it and you bring your family and you change the course of your family with generational wealth. I hope so. As a black man, I hope you do that. But as a basketball player, I would hope it would make you want to work harder. I would hope that it makes you say, hey, listen, now I need to earn this guaranteed money that I got. I need to get my team to the finals and win. And that's the only goal, win the finals, period. That should be your only goal, win the finals. And if that's not your motivation, that's not his motivation, because if that was your motivation, every year you got bumped in the playoffs or didn't make the playoffs, guess what? You go and you work on your game to figure out, what can I do? How can I get better to help my team get to the playoffs or get to the finals or win the finals? So if you're not in the playoffs, you want to get to the playoffs first. If you're in the playoffs, you want to get to the finals. If you get to the finals, then you want to win it. But what can I do as a player? What can I do as a max player? Because now there's a title. You're a max player. You got the max money, a max contract, and you're not working on your game in the offseason? Jimmy Butler doesn't look like an asshole now. Jimmy Butler doesn't look like a spoiled brat who can't get along with his teammates now. When he said it, when he was in Minnesota, he said it. Remember, he was in Minnesota. He said it. Those guys are soft. Then they trade him to Philadelphia. He goes to Philadelphia. These guys are soft as baby shit. And like, what? Oh, Jimmy, he can't get along. He's a malcontent. He's this, he's that. Oh, now you're seeing why Jimmy Butler had those issues, because Jimmy Butler is a guy who came in and busted his ass, whether you like him or not. He came in as a defensive specialist, okay? And he worked his way to a superstar, not a star, a superstar. He worked on his offensive game. Every year he added something else to his game. Every year, to the point where he became a star. He became an all-star. Then became a star. Then became a superstar. And this is from a guy who was a defensive specialist coming out of college. So when he sits there and says these guys don't work, this guy knows work. And I got my respect for Jimmy Butler just went through the roof, because now we see whatever's in the dark will come to light. And we've seen what he talked about the team in Minnesota, and especially the team in Philadelphia. When you see this nonsense go on, with 3 shots and 3 made baskets in 7 games in the fourth quarter, and you're one of their max player, get the hell out of here, dude. Sorry, dude. I wish they could say, you know what, we're gonna cut you, and we're only gonna give you half of it because you suck so bad.
You didn't hear Tom Thibodeau and Mr. Hard Work. You didn't hear him saying anything back about Jimmy saying talking
You're
about
right.
the Timberwolves. You didn't hear anything. Tom said nothing because he knew Jimmy was right.
You're right.
Because he knew Jimmy was right. And what is he doing? What is he doing with guys in New York that want to work, that are hungry?
Taking them to the playoffs.
Take them to the playoffs. Guys that probably shouldn't. Guys that off of the potential and off of their past, play, probably shouldn't even be there. But they worked their asses off and they got there, and their potential is now being shown. It's all about work. I don't think he works hard enough.
Yeah, man, 3 hours is come and gone, man. We can continue this because you just got me fired up at the end of the show talking about soft ass Ben Simmons, dude. I don't know. I don't even think he deserves to be in the NBA anymore, dude. Because you know what? I don't want him on my team. I don't want, especially because of all his talent, because of all the talent that he has. I don't want him on his team if I know he's going to crumble in crunch time. If he's going to pull a Houdini and vanish. Bump that, dude. I played with guys like that, and trust me, I didn't play with them. They weren't on my team for long. Or trust me, I didn't hang out with them because I knew this is what you are. No way. I'm sorry. You know what? It's a shame because a guy with this much talent, 6'10", and all the skills that he has to put the basket to crumble in crunch time. This is your mental midget. This is why Michael Jordan was the best, because he destroyed you mentally. This is why some of these Larry Legend, Magic Johnson, these guys, they destroyed you. Kobe Bryant, because it wasn't about the physical. It's never about the physical. It's all about the mental. And right now, Ben Simmons can't do it. Well, listen, we got it, man. Phenomenal show, man. I definitely want to thank my guests, Matt Anuko from the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast, Beth Mr. Elmore, who covers the Bears for Heavy.com, Joseph Phillips coming in. Dude, Joseph came in hot, and we were talking. I got fired up early, boy. We got started early today, and it snowballed from there. What a phenomenal show, guys! Thank you so much. You made it a great show. Also want to thank our executive producer, Elliot Baez. Big happy birthday to Clarence Council, our social media guy. Yesterday was his birthday. Want to wish him a very, very, very happy birthday. My co-host of Ascension, Maya Kai, and of course this guy right here in his Team USA. Is that number 9? Is that a Jordan jersey?
Oh yeah.
Okay. No. Number 9 in his Jordan USA Team USA jersey. Ivan Vargas. Yeah, I see it. There you go. So for all the people I mentioned, you know what we're going to do is we're going to take a 45-hour break. We'll be back on Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Central Standard Time. So for Elliot, for Clarence, her birthday boy Clarence, for my guy Ivan Vargas.
Hey, Leori Garcia just hit a home run for the Sox. They're up 1-0 against Pittsburgh.
Thank goodness.
See you guys on Friday.
Nothing tonight with Sports 101.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We got a Health Tech Hall tonight and Sports 101 with Jamar Harp. So be sure to check those out starting at 6.
Awesome, guys. So I'll be back on Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Central Standard Time, as I said. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our YouTube channel, and download the app. So now that's being said, folks, check us out. But I will see you because guess what? I am hungry. I'm hungry. So I'm out. Your boy is Superback. I'm gone.